We've got
Kezia.
HMO.
I know that WAP was like a
FOMO.
cultural moment, but like I don't like it as a song.
Yeah, no, I don't really
That's
like it
fair.
either.
It's hard to listen to.
I wish I
I've never
did.
listened to it all the way through.
Okay, it looks
It's
like
not
we're
as good as you
live.
want it to be. Like you want it to be good, and it's just not.
I have not heard any of it, I don't think.
Oh, it's really great, and she's like, "Oh, wet ass pussy."
Dick.
Yeah.
Dick.
That's just
Nice.
okay. Kate says we're live. I
Nice.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Thank
when
you,
Kate
Kate.
tells us that we're live
I know.
because it's hard to tell.
You're like the
sometimes.
Freddie Benson
Uh,
in 5.
She's like
Four.
they're like Scooter from the Muppets.
yeah.
Because like
I love
Yeah.
Scooter.
I haven't. The Muppet Show is on Disney Plus, and I haven't watched it yet.
It's still fucking good,
'Cause-
yo.
Yeah, because I would like, for some reason, the Muppet Show is one of those things. It's like the Muppet Show and the Carol Burnett Show are like two things you cannot get, like basically, unless you buy the DVD $100 pack, because that's
Right.
just like whoever owns it is just
Yeah.
like, fuck you. Buy
Well,
the
it's because
thing.
it's a variety
And now
show, and
that-
the rights are super complicated.
Yeah, exactly. So like now that it's on Disney Plus, I can finally watch it. Not the Carol Burnett Show though. I still can't watch that.
No, that's on Peacock.
Nice.
It's on Peacock.
I
It
went,
is?
I
Oh,
went out of
forgot
my
it's on
way to
Peacock.
tell you that a while ago. I was
yeah,
like,
I know, I
Adeline.
already knew that, but I forgot, and now I'm
Okay.
relearning it. Every day is
Um,
Christmas.
Did you guys have those like Muppets as kids picture books when you were little?
No,
Are you talking about
we
Muppet
never, we
Babies?
never really did Muppet Babies.
No, not Muppet Babies. It was Muppets as like 8 to 10-year-olds, and they had like life
No.
problems. Like there was one where Fozzie Bear like lied to his dad or something like that. He had to learn a lesson. There was one where Scooter and Skeeter, they used to do everything together because they were twins, but then
Right.
Skeeter started being better at things than Scooter.
Did they ever
And so, like-
incorporate adult Skeeter into the Muppets?
Not that I can recollect.
Okay, just checking.
Which is honestly a shame
Yeah.
because Skeeter is fun.
He's a
So-
Muppet Babies exclusive. It's just weird.
No,
like,
Skeeter is a girl. How dare you? How dare you assume?
Oh, okay. wait, are
Know
you
who the
sure?
fuck Skeeter is?
Yes.
It
Jack
was
and I read
Scooter's
this book
twin.
all
Skeeter
It
right
was
now.
Scooter's
Who the
twin.
They're
fuck is Skeeter?
fraternal twins.
Aww.
Did she have like a bow?
Skeeter's a
Hold on.
cutie.
I
Well,
assume.
no, but in
I can't picture
the-
Skeeter. I assume it's like Scooter with a bow.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
with,
Oh
like,
yeah. No,
slightly
literally.
longer hair.
Yep. No, it's just like
Yeah.
you know how Scooter, you know how his hair be. Imagine it was just like mirrored, so it came out of both sides. That's literally what Skeeter is.
Right. But the thing about the Muppet Show is that A, it's still funny, and
Mhm.
B, there's one line that just fucking killed me, where it was one of the like Fozzie Bear and Statler and Waldorf bits, where he like tells the stupid joke, and they're like, you remind us of Charlton Heston, and Fozzie's like, but Charlton Heston wasn't a comedian, and they go, yeah. It absolutely killed me. I thought that was so fucking funny.
Do you remember? Like, they're all over the internet. They're fucking hilarious. But all the commercials for Folgers Coffee that Jim Henson
Right, yeah.
did before the Muppets, and it's just like him basically doing the Kermit voice with his little gray puppet, just murdering the other one for not drinking coffee. And it's
Yeah.
the funniest thing on the planet. He's like, you know what happens to people who don't drink coffee? And he's like, I don't drink that much coffee. And he's like, well, and he like has a gun under his coat. And he's
Yeah,
like, well,
exactly.
some people never learn.
Pulls out a
And then he
Kalashnikov.
shoots him.
Yeah.
And then Mario has a gun.
But
The
yeah,
only
it's
thing I
truly
have-
it's like this like proto Kermit the Frog like pulls up a big comical like TNT ignition and like pushes down the plunger and blows up his house and is like, should I drank coffee? And you're like, Jesus, okay, fine.
Jesus Christ.
We're gamers forever. We're gamers forever.
Ugh.
The only thing I have to add to a Muppets conversation, because I know very, very little about the Muppets, is there was when I was in like an after school, like elementary school, like, your parents are at work, you can stay here. We had a movie that everyone fucking loved, and it was Muppets, but they were all pirates, and it was awesome.
Right, Muppet
Yeah,
Treasure
Muppet
Island.
Treasure Island.
With,
There's
Hell
that.
what's his
Yes,
name?
there's that one. And then the I don't think it's a Vine, but just the fucking video of Kermit with his face in the hole in that door.
Oh, right.
That is what I have to contribute
Right.
to this conversation.
What a good find. God, the Muppets are just so good and they're so funny. Cause like Muppet Treasure Island, classic story, everybody knows it. What if they were Muppets? Now it's 10,000 times funnier. Cause there's that scene, cause Gonzo and Rizzo are like friends with the kid from Treasure Island, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny boy. But there's that room where the pirate with the black spot in the house like dies, and they just like have this like beat where like the guy's like dead on the bed and they're just kind of looking at it, and Rizzo just goes, "We're in a room with a dead guy," and they just start screaming, and it's hilarious.
What's the name? Okay, so I had a beer like about an hour ago before we sat down to record, and what I found that happens to me when I drink a beer is that I feel totally normal, except I have a hard time remembering actors' names.
That's
so
the
Am I
only
always
difference?
drunk then? 'Cause
Maybe I
I
should-
can never, ever do that.
So maybe I should stop
Maybe you
doing
have
that.
that disease that turns bread into alcohol in your stomach.
Maybe.
What's the name of the guy who is in Muppet Treasure Island and he says cheese pizza in Home Alone 2?
No idea.
I don't
Home
fucking know,
Alone
dog.
too.
What do you guys fucking
No
know?
idea.
Jesus Christ. He's in fucking Clue, Adeline.
What's his face? The guy. Anything can happen on Halloween.
Yeah.
That guy. What the fuck is his name?
in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's an
He's the
iconic
butler.
actor.
Ian, you know this. Ian,
Iconic
help.
and beloved actor. I want to say Kevin
Gay
Spacey, but
icon.
that's not it. His name sounds like Kevin Spacey. Kezia, how do you not know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about. I
I'm
got no
freezing
fucking
up
clue what
so
his name is.
bad. You guys, I was more like a Muppets Christmas Carol person. I didn't really
I
watch
know,
Muppets
we
Treasure
know.
Island a
He's
lot
in-
growing up.
He's in Clue, he's in Home Alone 2, he's in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he's in Muppet Treasure Island. He's a beloved icon.
Out of those movies besides Muppets Treasure Island, I've only seen Home Alone 2.
The guy,
He says
Tim Curry,
cheese.
Tim Curry,
Tim Curry. Yes, Tim Curry.
Jesus Christ!
Headquarter Productions said Tom Curry, which isn't even right.
That's not.
This is really
Sounds
good.
like Kevin
Curry?
Spacey.
His
I
brother,
do love a
Tom
good
Curry.
movie.
Yes,
though.
we're talking about Tim Curry. God damn it.
Tim Curry, God.
Kind of sounds like Kevin Spacey.
That got me.
It does
real.
not.
It has the same energy as Kevin Spacey
That
as a
does
name.
not sound like Kevin Spacey at all.
Wait, hold on.
and
I
hopefully
just like in
nothing
the
like
chat
Kevin
that
Spacey.
Cade is doing like amp versus amp, Tasha's stream and
Yeah,
our
I know.
stream.
But yeah, I mean, thanks for letting me know. I mean, we are friends, so Tosh does, think about me sometimes.
She's talking shit about you, man.
But, oh, is she?
It's like,
That's,
God, the
yeah, we're
fucking
listening to the stream right
assholes.
We're
now.
throwing shade. We're tossing tea. We're
Well,
Wig,
fuck-
wig,
snatching
wig.
wigs.
We're snatching wigs. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
all raid Tasha's stream and snatch her dang wig.
Wow.
Got any wigs? We're gonna take them.
No wigs.
Snack.
Snack on them.
Snack tea. You're gonna spill the wig.
Guys, I don't think Natasha wears a wig.
Says you.
But
don't
not
know.
anymore. Not when we're through.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got a double wig reveal like Roxy Andrews.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Roxy Andrews. Sure. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have a fun story. So today I went to Ross because I need shoes for work, and that's not interesting. But what is interesting is the sheer magnitude of Ellen DeGeneres brand stuff at Ross is actually hilarious.
Like what
Yeah.
kind of stuff?
Like t-shirt. There was a lot of dog merchandise for Ellen DeGeneres at Ross, where
That's-
stores were just like, we gotta get rid of this shit. They're
Sounds
just like,
about right.
Ross, here you go. Like the whole
I
dog
didn't-
section was full of Ellen DeGeneres brand stuff.
That's so funny.
I didn't even know Ellen DeGeneres had stuff to brand. I guess it
I
makes
know,
sense.
no,
but-
man, she's got stuff. I think there was like cooking stuff too. It was just hilarious at the magnitude. It was obvious that like a store had just like dumped their whole stock of this brand on this one Ross store. They're just like, take it, we don't want it.
We-
I feel
we
like- I
can't
feel
get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the extent of like an Ellen DeGeneres branded anything is just like that item with her face on it.
Well,
Like
yeah, it's
even
just
like
like
the
her
wasn't
reverse-
even
brand, I
that.
guess.
It
Or
was
just,
just
like-
like a dog t-shirt that said like always smile on it or something. Like it's just
Right.
like one of those like nothing.
Not to just like
Yeah.
tell somebody else's story from a different podcast, but somebody on a podcast I listened to, Jordan Jesse Go, talks about the time when he was like the guy who had to read the letters for the Ellen show briefly. And
Whoa.
how like basically his whole job for a while was just to like read all these, and it was in the brief time where she decided she wanted to stop dancing in the early 2000s.
Whoa.
And so he just had to go through like stacks of letters of just like white women threatening to kill themselves if Ellen didn't start dancing again.
Oh my god.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Ellen is
That-
truly, I think, the weirdest like figure in pop culture. That's it. Like what? Like
Ellen
I
is
just don't-
70
have to
years
take-
old.
Is
Wait,
that true?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, she not to
No
we.
fracking way.
The only thing we know how to talk about on this podcast is how old actors are, but
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres in her stand-up special that I watched a while
She's
ago,
3.
which was pretty good. Say again.
It's a good
She's
stand up, which is
63.
weird.
Oh, 63. I
Yeah.
was confused.
That
I-
feels more believable.
Still.
Oh my god,
though.
70 years
Yeah.
old.
yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, so she's 63 right now. Sorry, was remembering 60, but I said 70. But regardless, she's
It's your drunk brain.
way old.
She's older than you think. But you know, that also makes sense why she makes fun of teenagers for not knowing how to use a phone book.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it is. She's so weird because you start her career, everybody loves her in whatever fucking show she was on. I don't even remember.
She was just
Ellen,
a
the
comedian.
Ellen show.
She was just a
it
comedian who
was
got a
the-
talk show.
No, it was the sitcom. Remember, she was on
Yeah,
the sitcom
Ellen
and
show
came
is
out.
called Ellen.
Oh, that's right. She got a sitcom first. I always forget that happened.
But then she was gay on the sitcom, and then she got the talk show, or was it before or after? When did she come out? What's
So
the
she
timeline?
came out on the sitcom called Ellen,
Okay.
and then people were like, "Gross! I don't like the gays," and so they canceled the show, and then she got her talk show.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like she has this weird roller coaster effect of like being hated and then beloved for just years and years and years and years and years. And it just, I think we were just waiting for the backswing on that because now she's despised.
well, yeah, now
so
everybody
it's just
fucking
kind
hates
of
her because she's
hilarious.
apparently an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's surprising she's an asshole. You think that after going through that she would be nice,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
She would
no.
be not an asshole.
Right.
Yeah, you think she would like know that like, hey, people have been assholes to me. Let me not be an asshole. But apparently that is not the theory that Ellen is working
Right.
with.
No, yeah, because she had like her first stand-up special in like 40 years or whatever a little while
Mhm.
ago, and you know she talks a lot about like her experience on that and stuff. And I mean, you know, obviously, like we are saying, she is by all accounts an asshole who's like horrible to her employees or whatever. But like that stand-up special was pretty good. Like I liked that stand-up special a lot.
Thing about that stand-up special is how much she seemed like a real person. I think
Yeah,
she's just
totally.
made a career out of seeming like a nice person, so she could just do
Right.
it effortlessly.
And then she's married to Portia de Rossi from Arrested Development, which is also weird to me.
And
Yeah.
also, Portia bought Ellen for her birthday a freaking gorilla sanctuary.
Yeah, right. God damn it. This is so
Whoa.
weird. What a weird
Whoa.
person.
I would like a
What?
gorilla sanctuary for my
I'd like
birthday,
this
just in
thing.
case anyone out there is listening and they have the funds to do that.
Yeah, that'll be a part of our Patreon. It's just
Yeah.
funds
You know,
for gorillas.
we have a
Imagine a
Patreon
No Nerds
tier.
Allowed gorilla sanctuary.
I was gonna say we're starting a brand new Patreon and we're like very small. We're like first, you know, like reward tier. It's like 25 Patreon subscribers will shave Jackson's head. 50 Patreon subscribers will go to Disneyland. 1 million Patreon subscribers will buy a gorilla sanctuary.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Doesn't that seem like
They
that
need the
kind of seems?
money.
And we'll put it in San Francisco. So then the events for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they'll be
Right.
all
Can
lined up.
happen.
More
Yeah,
accurate.
then we'll LARP it out.
And yes, Dylan.
So
in the
S tier
chat.
can be
God damn it.
highest tier will be where we are raising funds to cure Alzheimer's.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where
That's the tier after buying the Gorilla
after
Sanctuary.
the
Yeah,
girl
imagine
sanctuary.
if you're like checking on your favorite podcast Patreon and they have a reward tier that's just like at 10,000 subscribers we start a foundation to end breast cancer once and for all.
Seems good to me.
Dylan, this is live. We are live right now, Dylan.
Yeah, well, we're not doing that. We're not in the episode. This is pre-episode. That's
Pre-episode, but it's not pre-recorded.
Yeah, no.
Oh wait, I just totally misread that question. This is
he
pre-episode.
just didn't answer his question at all.
I thought he was
Technically
asking if this
started-
was pre-recorded or if it was live.
No.
We haven't started talking about Pokemon yet, if that's what you were asking.
I'm always thinking about it.
Did Tosh
You
did Tosh raid us and then nobody came over here? Because that'd be fucking hilarious.
Well, that's only on Twitch, right? Is it
Oh,
different?
hey,
Well,
okay, we
no.
got somebody. We got somebody
Okay,
named
no,
Peach.
there's Peach,
Dylan
so-
G.
Is that
Hell
like
yeah.
Princess?
La Princess?
La Princess Peach?
The Princess Peach. Can we
Do they
talk
have
about
a
the Princess
Peach
Peach
lookalike?
that's at Mario Land? Because I love her so fucking much.
Oh,
Like
super
the
quick.
mask.
Let me.
What?
I'm gonna do the tweet that we usually do to announce that we are streaming. Indeed.
I've been trying to get on Twitter to say something about it, but my freaking computer hates me and
Your
it won't open Twitter.
Your freaking computer.
My freaking
Effing.
computer. My heckin'
computer.
My heckin' computer.
God, my
okay.
heckin' Borfo.
God damn it! I hate Borfo.
Heckin' Borfo.
So yeah, if we do have some new people, welcome. What's up? We're just chilling for now, but
Hiya.
in a moment we're gonna do a podcast about Pokemon Forever.
Jackson, while you're on the tweeter, I got a roundtable discussion. I want everyone to go around. I want them to answer. I'm gonna start with Kezia. Kezia, who is your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite is, I always say Ditto,
Mm.
but I feel like
feels
Ditto's
kind
a
of
cheat.
like-
Classic.
Yeah, it feels like, what's your favorite color? Rainbow? Like, shut up,
I
Kevin.
know,
That'd be
I
fucking
know,
hilarious.
but like, cause like that's always the move, you know. My favorite Pokemon is probably Squirtle, which is basic, but I'm basic,
It's a good choice. No, it's a good choice.
And
He's
also-
wholesome.
and I also like doing the Squirtle voice, and
That's
that's
wild.
fun. Yeah,
Do it.
so
It's kind of like someone's punched you in the stomach.
and you're like
Squirtle.
Squirtle.
Okay, so question, add on to that question. Also, second question, part
Oh,
of that.
God.
Who's your favorite Mario princess?
Out of the two?
Daisy.
Yep,
I guess
There we go.
Evangelina.
All right, okay, there we go.
Oh
So-
yeah, she's weird though. I don't like her vibe.
But she's like soft and she's
weird?
kind.
What?
She's like, I don't know. I didn't
But
like
she's
her, I didn't
raising
like
all
her
the
vibe.
baby stars. She's got
raising
mother
all the
Yeah.
stars, but
Wait,
I
have
didn't
you
like the way.
played? Have you
I didn't
played
like the way she
Galaxy?
talked to me during Mario Galaxy. I didn't like her
love
tone with
those
me.
games. I love Rosalina.
She's a sweetheart. She's
She's-
got crazy bangs.
She's
Uh,
a mother.
My favorite
Okay, okay.
Pokemon.
When Mario, I don't want to get too far off track, but when I just want to say really quick, when Mario Galaxy came out, my sister was too young to like play on her own. So basically, I would beat a level and then I'd have to sit through watching her try, and then she'd just ask me to do it. But then one time she was like, I want to get the star, so I let her, and she just leapt off the like little ledge that was there for no reason, just for design, and she died. So then it was like a really hard level. I had to do it all again for her.
Oh no! Like, oh, you mean like at the very, very
At the
end? She
very
was like,
end.
"I want to touch the star."
There's like a pedestal. She's like, I want to get the star myself. I was like, okay, sure. And then she ran right off, and that killed her.
Damn.
It killed her.
And it killed me.
I was so angry.
That's so awesome.
Okay. Tabi, your turn.
Do I have to pick one?
You got pick.
Yes,
one.
Tabi.
Mankey.
Oh, you know, Mankey is high up there, but it's not
Good
my
answer.
favorite. Okay. First pick, Gyarados. And I know that that's also a basic bitch answer, but I love me an underdog story. If you let me have to, I would have also said Raichu.
Raichu's
Get
good
back,
too. I like
Sandshrew. Is red.
Like
I want
Raichu with
Sandy.
surfboards. That's cute. I like that.
Little
Yeah.
pangolin.
Pangolin.
And then your favorite princess is Rosalina.
Yes, obviously.
Yes, God.
God.
Okay, Jackson.
Yes.
Favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon is Arceus, because it's the strongest Pokemon and it could kill all the other Pokemon.
Because it's
Bleh.
basically like Pokemon
That's
God.
cheating.
Yeah.
My favorite Pokemon is Mewtwo. Because
That's my 7-year-old brother's answer. So you
Yeah.
watch it.
that's like my ditto answer.
But
Yeah, Mewtwo is cool.
but no,
Doesn't count.
my favorite boy is Slowbro. I'm a Slowbro.
That's right, Slobo.
What do you call
You're a
Slowbro
Slowbro
fans?
bro.
I guess slow bros, but that's stupid.
What's the final evolution of Torchic?
Blaziken.
Blaziken. I always in my head I have Blaziken stuck as your favorite Pokemon, but you do love Slowbro.
Yeah, Slowbro's Mega Slowbro, especially from Omega Ruby and Alpha
Yeah.
Sapphire, is my boy.
Okay, favorite
Mega
princess.
Slowbro is so silly looking.
Favorite princess? I mean, I guess it's Daisy.
Daisy rocks.
Like
She's
of the
good.
three.
She's a good one.
Yeah, she's cool.
Okay, hold on. So
I guess rip to Princess
Kate, I know
Peach,
you're not
sorry.
talking to me like Evane a little bit, but my favorite thing about Stuffle is the fact that if I just look at it quickly, it looks like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so good.
It's the best part of that.
I had a Stuffle that evolved into a Beware, but I just named it Stufu, and that's just
Just
always been his name.
Okay, my favorite Pokemon is that I got two. Both of my answers are basic bitch answers because like the first one is Mudkip because Mudkip is just adorable and he's the best. And then my second one is Meryl because I fucking loved Meryl so much when I was little. And they're water type and fairy type, which is dope. And they're little balls of mouse adorableness. So yeah, it's Meryl.
Meryl is
actually, Anna, Arceus can be any type he wants to be, so that means that he'll always be super effective against Tyranitar. So that means that actually Arceus could still beat him. It doesn't matter how much damage he could do, because Arceus could always do double it, because he could be any type he wants.
Jackson, but
Take-
see,
yeah,
I
take
believe
that,
in Entei,
7-year-old
so
boy.
Entei's gonna win.
That's true if you do believe in Entei.
But I believe.
But I believe in Entei more, so he's gonna win. Also, and my favorite princess is Princess Peach, and y'all could go fuck yourselves.
Yeah,
No,
Peach is
they're
great.
all good. All princesses are good. They all
I just
deserve
like-
to be loved.
I like Daisy's dress more, you know?
You like the yellow and the orange.
I like the yellow and the orange.
I just like the pink and the blue, and I think her hair is really pretty.
her hair is pretty.
She's classic, yeah.
Clay.
And then when you play Odyssey and you find her in all the different areas and she's wearing all her cute fucking different outfits, God, I love it. Anyway.
Well, I have Anna, I have a solid gold ultra rare at Slowbro, so you can tell that kid to go
Okay,
fuck
I
himself.
have
We
my.
should date Jackson, Anna, because he's got that Pokemon card.
I have a roundtable question.
Okay, sure.
Can you do your best Pikachu voice? Is
Oh,
my
no.
Ooh.
It's a
The
challenge
answer's
more.
no, but I mean.
I want to hear you try. Or is there a Pokemon that you feel like you could do the voice work for?
I could do a really good impression of Stantler in this movie.
Yes.
So this is, I think it would go a little something like this. Stantler.
That really is it. That really is.
That's
It's spot on.
That's what they say in this movie.
Stantler. Stantler.
Or you could do Onyx and just go, oh.
No, he says yo. He says yo for some reason. I was paying attention because I was like, some of these Pokemon don't say their names; they just say sounds.
Yeah.
And Onyx is one of them, and he goes yo. No, yeah.
There's no reason why. I mean, but
Yeah, why
besides,
do
it's
some
just
of
fun
them
that they
say
do.
their names? And some of
We'll
them
get into
don't.
it when we start actually talking about the movie, but I was just thinking about it. Pikachu doesn't do anything in this movie, does he?
No.
No, he shocks.
Jackson, I don't know.
He does a
I didn't watch the
thunder.
movie.
No, of course not.
He does for a second. He does
Well,
one
he
thing.
blows
and
up the jetpack, but that's like it. That's all he's.
And
doing.
he also like looks at things like if you have a pet cat and the pet cat like is just staring at the wall.
yeah.
Like Pikachu does that a lot. I feel like,
I mean,
Which
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
is more realistic of what owning a
He's-
Pikachu would be like.
He's mostly there for entourage, but he does kill the hunter at the end.
You know what I'm
he
just
does
realizing?
fucking kill that hunter.
What I'm just realizing about Pokemon Forever and the myth of the life of Celebi in the forest is
In the voice and the whatnot.
that I don't think any of their Pokemon really do much of anything at all, right?
You could make the argument that the Ash Gang doesn't need to be here for the
Yeah,
story
it's
to
kind of
happen.
got that Raiders
Yeah.
of the Lost Ark thing where it's just like,
Because all the side characters are the ones doing shit. The
Yeah.
Ash Gang does not need to be here.
Except
We'll
for
get
Ash falls
into
in
it.
love.
I mean, Ash
Hello?
tells
He does,
that
he really-
Ash tells
Are not
Celebi to
very
believe
deep.
in himself and remember who
It's
he is.
true. Yeah, it's just like that. This is literally. I was thinking to myself, this is How to Train Your Dragon 2. This is the whole plot of How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Pokemon Forever.
This came out first, though.
It
So they
did.
stole from this.
much,
Yes.
much earlier.
But so I was just looking at some things, and I think it's really fascinating that the first 3 Pokemon movies had like wide theatrical releases, right? They like came out in theaters like any other movie, like a regular animated
Yeah.
movie. And basically, this is the point where like each of those movies made like dramatically less money than the previous one. So they were like, okay, obviously we're not going to do this forever. So at this point, they basically, this is like where they're transitioning into making movies that are pretty much like direct to TV, like, and they know that.
Yeah.
And they do still get theatrical releases, but you know, like very limited ones and just like small theaters and big cities and stuff. And I think this is like really the point in these Pokemon movies where it kind of becomes like, this is just sort of like a feature-length episode of the TV show, you know?
Yep,
It's like,
yep.
oh, there's a Pokemon and it's powerful and there's a bad guy who wants to get it and they stop him from getting the Pokemon and
Except Jackson.
right.
Now we have a 3D animation budget that we don't know how
Right.
to use.
Well, except
Oh
I
my
think,
gosh.
I think the 3D is pretty well implemented in this movie. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
well implemented in like the stick demon, but like when the background is 3-dimensional and like in the very first shot where the forest is like
No, I think
3-dimensional.
that rules.
No, that felt like a 2D
I hate it.
animation going around on the screen while
I thought it
a
looked
separate
super
3D
good.
animation played. No, that wasn't good.
The first thing I wrote down was that the 3D environments are kind of gorgeous, TBH.
The first thing that I wrote down
Aw.
was that the 2D and the 3D do not mix well.
Oh, come on. It looks good.
I think for the time, I think it's a pretty good feat of engineering and art. But I will say that the grass on the like giant Celebi, when it was like blowing in the wind, really
Dark
freaked
Souls
me
monster,
out. Like
yeah.
it hit me in the one little area of the uncanny valley that I was
Yeah.
like, this is bad. And I think it reminded me of like that episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where there's that like ghost man and he's like, return the slab, oh suckle my kiss. And like that really freaked me out as a kid and it moved the same way. So
Okay,
that's the
okay.
only problem I have.
All right.
The first note that I have written down on my phone is the 3D animation looks not great, but in a very nostalgic, good kind of way.
That's fair. That
So we're a spectrum.
yeah.
Fuck
We
yeah.
got- we
I
got-
think,
we got
I
all
think
of
the
it.
3D. I think they separately look fine. Just the way that they integrated them together is very dated and maybe not as effective as it would be if they had better technology.
think
I
that's true.
will accept that.
That's all
Uh,
I'm
It's also
saying.
2001,
Yes.
baby.
I also really
I'm
like.
not saying. That's all I'm saying.
I really like that
Solid.
opening scene where the little boy's like, I'm going out into the forest. And his mom's like, okay, but be careful. Because if you hear a certain noise, you need to stay very still. Or else Celebi will take you back in time and you'll be stranded in the past forever. And you'll never get to see anybody you love ever again. And he's like, okay. And just like runs into the forest. You're
I
like,
know every
all
time
right.
conversation, it's not his mom. First of all, it's just this.
Yeah, did you say it was
Okay,
his mom?
whatever.
It's
the
not.
guardian of the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like, I love because she's like, hey, be careful in there because God will kill you. And he's like, okay, bye. And she's like, wait, have some bread. I made it.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
"Get bread or
yeah.
something." He's
Have
like,
some bread with berries in it.
and then he
Gross.
immediately is like, okay, bye. Like, again. He's just
Blueberry
like,
muffin,
bye.
you ever had a
I
blueberry muffin
gotta go.
before?
Have you ever had a loaf of bread with berries in it? What are you talking
Oh,
about?
yeah,
cake,
raisin.
Jackson.
Jackson, you can't eat bread. Raisin bread is
Whatever.
good.
It sounds fucking gross.
Okay,
You
but do
don't
you
know
think?
the
do
joys
you
of
think?
raisin bread.
Do you think that the berries in the bread were the berries that they were like eating from that tree, and maybe that's why the bread was so good because it
Yeah,
had
it
so many
was.
berries in it?
Because
Yeah.
it's
It's
magic
healing
berries.
bread.
that
Yeah,
have
and they never
special-
like
friendship
a
berries.
special property
Friendship.
that allows them to magically taste good in bread.
Do you know when you like? Do you know when you listen to somebody talk about Kingdom Hearts and they say shadow, evil, light, good like 12,000 times?
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
think that's what the plot of this movie is.
That is daring to say that there is a plot to this movie, though.
Yeah.
So
Because it is kind of just like events that happen,
I have
but
the
like
dark
there
ball
are no
that turned the
there are no
Pokemon
consequences.
evil, but the power of friendship and light and the forest
yeah,
is good and friendship, light, good, dark, bad. It's like, wow.
I really like that beginning where the guy is like introducing the idea of his dark balls.
Oh
and
my
he's
god.
like,
Mhm,
this is and there's this Tyranitar in a cage and it comes out and he's all bashful and then he's like
He's
if-
so
yeah,
sad
he
looking.
pulls out this Pokeball and the guy who had the Tyranitar is like, what is that? And he's like, it's a dark ball. And the guy's like, what does it do? And he's like, well, if I capture a
I'll
Pokemon
tell
with
you.
this, they become evil and level up to their maximum level, which I fucking hate. We talked about this
the
in
darkness and the evil and the bad.
Yeah. In the Detective Pikachu episode, we made a big deal of the fact that like trying to spout video game jargon in like a narrative feature film fucking sucks 100% of the time.
It sucks. It's the
It's just
worst.
kind
Uh,
of bad.
And him being like, it'll level him up to the maximum level. It's like, no, it won't. It's an animal. like,
An animal with an evolution pattern.
so
I believe
We
it.
also
so
really
do
do just
normal.
throw around evil and good like it's nothing because
Yeah.
it's nothing. But
Yeah.
like it's like he's evil now. It's like what does that mean? Well, it means exactly
He
what you
does-
think it
yeah,
means.
he
There's
he
no,
does
there's no
everything
like
that I say he does.
we're not having a conversation about shoving morality onto animals. We're not having that conversation. He's just evil now. Don't ask questions.
It
Yeah,
makes them
no.
mean.
like-
They're mean now.
They're mean.
Like
the
in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Dark.
Even the
It's like-
eyes thing is the same.
No, yeah.
Let's
Oh,
talk
fuck.
about these dark balls some more.
So I think part of what they're trying to do is that like because around this time in the trading card game they had that whole gimmick of like dark Raichu or like dark Slowking, you know, like
Oh,
these cards
yeah.
that were like the dark versions and they'd have like, you know, angry
Yeah.
eyebrows.
There you go,
Uh,
Or
right.
it would just be like a purple color palette.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like there's kind of some sort of synergy going on with that. So I mean, I guess
that
that's
would
part
be
of it.
kind of cool.
That's why he
Yeah.
has those dark balls. But
Schemes don't change. They look the same. They're just like,
Yeah.
"Grrr,
yeah, they have angry
I am
eyebrows.
evil.
They have angry eyebrows and tiny pupils.
Yeah,
So-
but that's lame. That's boring character design.
We touched on it with the dialogue in this movie. For some, like, there's some funny moments in the other one where the dialogue's a little wonky, but you can tell it's just like in translation, like something didn't line up. But like the delivery of the lines in this movie are so weird. You have the guy being like, "What is it?" And then you have that later when they're like on the boat going to the fairy forest, and like they see Suicune like in the woods, and he has this moment where he turns around and they go, "Is that a Pokemon?" And they're like, "Yeah, it looks like a Pokemon." Like, what the fuck else would it be?
I wrote it down. Ash was
Like,
like,
in real
what
life-
was that? I just like, yeah, it's a Pokemon. Stupid.
If that happened in our universe, it would have been like, was that an animal?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 What? Yeah, it's
No,
a
it was a
forest
man.
full of animals. Like, what else would it be? Stupid.
What are you talking about? What? It's a Pokemon world. You're in the Pokemon forest. What do you mean? It wasn't what Pokemon is that? Is that a Pokemon? Like, yeah, it's a fucking Pokemon, Ash.
it so easily could have just been like, what Pokemon was that?
Yeah. No.
Was
was
that?
that a Pokemon?
Oh my gosh.
Is that a
It
Pokemon?
was.
So this movie was one of my earliest theatrical experiences. I remember as a kid going, I don't remember shoot, what was the name of the like little indie theater in Vancouver that we all liked so much?
I don't remember.
It wasn't the
Vancouver Indie Theater.
It wasn't the Garland Theater. It was like a staple of our life and culture at the time. But
I can't remember it now.
I went to see one of my friends in high school. I saw their band perform in that same theater, and it was also the first time I went to go see a theater when I saw Pokemon Forever with Caitlin Lockhart in like probably first or second grade. And that was pretty much it. I remember that they had a big like movie projector, like an old-timey movie projector in the hallway. And like that image of just like seeing that and being like, whoa, that's a big machine. Like it's kind of the most profound memory I have of that experience.
Wow.
Besides maybe, I do think our dad took us, and I do think he did hate it, which makes sense.
Yeah, I would not blame him for hating it.
Because especially in the 90s, when all parents are like, this Pokemon thing still like might be a cult, like just a little bit. We're still a little bit suspicious
of this. If it's not a cult, it's definitely annoying.
Exactly, yeah. And like, just to make him sit down in that theater and watch an hour and 20 minutes of Celebi, I don't know. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Because it's not even a good one. Like,
no, dude, it really has 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
it's so compared to the third movie, which the most recent one after or before this is the one with Entei, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, compared to that, this movie kind of sucks ass.
Because we will talk about forever. Pokemon 3 fucking slaps. It has an amazing plot. Makes you cry. It has to do with Pokemon. The Pokemon actually do things. Like, it feels like the Pokemon are integrated into the story and the world. This one is just like, we're going to tell you a story about a fairy. And Pokemon are there. And Ash is there. That's it. And it's like,
I guess. For a little fun little twist at the end.
I screamed. I screamed at the twist at the end. I was like, I wasn't bored watching this movie because, I mean, obviously it's a Pokemon movie. I had fun. But I was just chilling. I was just watching it. I get to the end and I'm like, oh, it's the end. And then there was the funny surprise, with the guy coming out of the water or whatever. And then fucking Professor Oak is like, oh, I remember that. That was fun. And I was like, holy shit!
Because, okay, it's not even...
Oh my god!
It's not even subtly a romance. It's literally just a romance. They watch the butterflies bloom and the sunrise together, and then they cry and hug as he goes back in time. It's like defo a romance. It's like not even...
It's not even like... Yes, it is. It so is. And it's not even in like a way... It's not time travel in a way where like one of them knows their friends. It's not Tenet. It's not Back to the Future where they're like, I know about our previous relationship. They both don't know about each other.
Yeah. I'd like to imagine
falling in love.
I'd like to imagine like that phone call at the end that they have with Professor Oak. He's like, well, Ash, I have a feeling that you'll be friends for a long time, and someday maybe he'll fuck your mom.
It's just there's too much. It's too much.
The idea of like this boyhood love and then growing up and meeting that boy is so deep. But then you do throw in the weird thing of Professor Oak and Ash's mom are definitely a thing. It's and it's because like spoiler alert, it's Professor Oak at the end of the movie, but like I love Sam so much. They're a little art nerd and I love them, and they give me really strong non-binary vibes. Is that just me? Like the pants and the belt and the fact that they're like out in the forest drawing, I'm like, I get vibes.
I get more like I guess just like simple cottagecore vibes
just
from
like
Sam, not like specifically non-binary, but
he's got a queer identity and then he falls in love with Ash Ketchum, so it's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a good point. Like, it kind of does have a similar button to Tenet, where it's like, surprise, we've been friends all along, which is good, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. Like, I was before they had the P. Oak reveal. I was kind of I like had a little wish inside of my heart that he would actually travel into the future, and we would see old man Ash, and he like was a Pokemon master now, and
Right.
he's like, "Oh, Ash Ketchum, there's something from the past or the future, and we have to fix it together." And then there would be like stakes or something, but there were no stakes.
The
But
little
there were
words from the
stakes, and
past,
they were
not
bad.
the future.
They're just like really vague. Celebi can't be evil because that would be bad, because evil's bad, and we can't have
Right.
that.
No, yeah, and it's like, I don't know, the whole thing is like, okay, so there's a powerful Pokemon, right? Celebi, crazy. There's a bad guy from Team Rocket who wants to get Celebi, and then he does, and turns Celebi evil, and everyone's like, oh, fuck. And then Ash is like, Celebi, wait, remember, you're not evil. And then Celebi's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then Celebi isn't evil anymore, and like, truly that's it.
Good.
Like, truly that's it.
That
and
is
there's like
the entire
a B plot.
movie.
There's a B plot about the kid going back in time, which is like, okay, cool, that's kind of interesting. And then there's the stuff with Suicune, which drives me so insane, because here's what happens with Suicune, okay? Shows up halfway through the movie. And they're like, what's that? It's like, that's Suicune. Its special power is that it can make water clean. And you're like, that's tight. That'll probably be important later. And then Suicune doesn't do anything. He's just kind of around. And then at the end of the movie, Celebi's like dying or whatever. And they're like, the healing water isn't going to work because it's dirty. And you're like, oh, Suicune can clean the water. That's its whole thing.
I get it. I know.
So then
Wow.
Suicune
They
jumps
have
around.
to tell
Wait.
Suicune.
Then Suicune jumps around and cleans the water. And then it still doesn't fucking work. So what even is the point?
Yeah, and then he leaves.
has
Of
no
having Suicune in the
purpose.
movie at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. And then it was like, is it supposed to be the power of love that
Right.
heals him? I guess.
They don't explain, because then a bunch of Celebes come from the sun and heal the dead Celebi.
Right.
But they are just like, they're like, oh, they came from all of time and space. So is this just one Celebi from multiple moments in time, or are there
You
a
know
bunch
what?
of
That's what I like to
Celebes?
imagine.
That's what I was also imagining, but I was like, I don't think that's what this movie's trying to tell me.
Whatever. It would sit
I have
that
a
way.
really important question. Okay, because I know my way around Pokemon. I really do, but I'm not smart. So I have a question for Jackson, because I know you know a lot about Pokemon.
Okay.
With legendary Pokemon, are there one, or can there be more than one?
I mean, it's one of those things that just doesn't matter, I don't think. Because
It matters to me.
There's no
all
way
the
to
time.
know.
It's-
Who's to say?
they're
Because
so
it's hard
rare.
to catch them. You don't see them.
no, I mean, look, the thing about it is that the way that they sort of like described legendary Pokemon when Pokemon was new was that like there's only one of them, meaning you can only catch one of them in the game. Like, it's impossible to get more than one
Oh.
while you're playing the game.
Yeah.
But throughout the years, that's just turned into like what a legendary Pokemon is that it's a Pokemon that is singular, that is not a species, it's just an individual, you know.
It's just
Yeah.
a unique individual. Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
Pokemon like TV show, they're constantly talking about multiples of things, and there's a
yeah,
handful
like they
of
say like a Celebi, like
Right.
it's a Celebi,
and in
Mhm.
the
not the Celebi.
and if I remember correctly, there's a handful of like Pokédex entries in the games too that are like, oh, Latios like to travel in herds or whatever. But people just kind of ignore it because I guess they
yeah.
just like the idea of it being just one. But
Yeah,
it's
I
never,
like that there's only one idea. It makes
Me
them like a
too.
mythical figure
Yeah.
versus just like an animal, you know?
But yeah,
Yes.
like in the actual canon, I mean canon, quote unquote, because nothing matters. But
Because it's Pokemon. Yeah.
but like that's never really been an official idea. Like it's just sort of a thing that people choose to believe.
Got
So
it.
I'm gonna pick a bone with nerd culture real quick. I've got a bone to pick, and I'm gonna
Okay.
pick it.
Do it.
I
Cubone?
I vaguely I vaguely remember this movie. I remember that Celebi's in it. That's it. And it's like people try to equate Celebi dying to like Ash dying in the TV show, where it's like this heartbreaking moment where all the Pokemon like come together to like resuscitate him
Yeah.
back to life, and it's like actually an emotional beat. And they try to compare that moment to the moment of Celebi dying. And as like visceral of the image of like the dried out Celebi is, he's dead for about 2.5 seconds. and the rest of the story has been nothing. So
Right.
when he
Yeah.
dies, I feel nothing, and then he is immediately brought back to life. It's just like, I don't care. I don't
Right.
care.
I mean, look,
Within
I
a
think
sequence
that
with like no rules, that doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah,
There's no
exactly.
rules.
but
So
like
then you're
I
like,
think
oh, sure.
I think that as an adult, that whole scene where Ash is like feeding the berries to the dead Celebi, and he's like, "Come on, Celebi, come back, eat the berries, Celebi." Like,
It's okay, you dropped one here.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
chew.
Like to us, we laugh at it and we totally roll our eyes because it feels so silly. But I feel like
Yeah.
if you're 8 and you've never seen something that's actually sad before, you're like, "That's the most profoundly sad thing I've ever seen."
Yeah.
You know? When you're 8,
That
that's
makes
like
sense.
that's like what oh fuck. It's like telling Lenny to look out across the lake and think of the bunnies, you know?
Look at the flowers. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen this movie before. This is my first time. And I thought it was going to be like a lesson about the permanence of death. And you know,
Yeah, no,
sometimes.
Yeah.
But it
It
wasn't.
could've
And
been.
also, why would it be?
And listen, I'm
I
gonna
mean, it
fucking
could
say
have been,
it,
and that would have been
Celebi's
cool.
a little pussy. Like,
Yeah.
he fucking can't do anything.
Hey.
He dies, he's
Oh, he
sick
does
the
so
whole
much.
movie, and then takes a swim, and he gets hit by another thing. He's just like always dying. He's always dying
Yeah,
the whole
I-
movie.
is-
Well, yeah, because nobody does anything in this
damsel.
movie. The two
The
like
damsel
real
in
events are like the bad guy catching Celebi and Ash telling Celebi to believe in himself. Like those are the only
And
two
then the
things that
bad
happen.
guy- The bad guy catches Celebi a lot. Like, they triumphantly got
Yeah, no, he
away.
does that a lot.
and they're
he
like,
also tries to kill a lot of children,
That's true.
which I think was a big take to come from Pokemon. A lot of children get hurt in this movie. The movie starts out with Ash Ketchum, hero boy #1, electrocuting a child smaller than him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
kid with the Australian accent, he's like, "Oh, and my
Yeah.
name's Dundee." You're like,
like,
"What the fuck
"I'm
is
gonna-
that?"
Hey, you want to battle me and my Pokemon?
His
Oh,
crocodile
because-
Pokemon.
It's like, no, what? I mean, that is another reason why it kind of just feels like a one really long episode because, like, why they just needed to put in a Pokemon battle, but like he's
Right.
supposed to be on a boat, but there's no reason why he was needed to be late for the boat.
Right,
Like,
right.
He gets the character.
Character, he has to
does,
be
but,
late
like,
for
Help
things.
the battle. He wants to
Yeah.
battle his Pokemon.
I
We
know,
have
but
to
it's just
open the
funny-
Pokemon movie with a Pokemon battle.
Yeah, you always
Yeah,
do
We
that.
have to.
yeah. But
You
it's
play
just
the new
funny
remix
that,
of the
like,
song.
There's like Misty and Brock are at the boat already. Like for some reason they went on ahead without him, and they're like, Ash is late again." He's so devoted
will-
to Pokemon
And
battling.
proms tomorrow.
Okay, I'm
I
trying
will
to think.
say,
Anna has just brought up something important in the chat, which is that she Googled the phrase Celebi dies, and the first thing that comes up is Celebi anime music video - everything is lost. And I'm trying to think if there's any good way to quickly just show everybody in the chat that.
Can
oh
we?
God.
can
I mean,
we
we could just
screen
say,
share?
okay, everybody go look.
I mean, I guess we can
And
just direct.
watch it.
Oh, fuck. Well,
Somebody
whatever.
Or
go
we
watch
can
it
just-
and tell us in the chat if it's funny.
I googled Celebi dies, and the first thing is Joshua Wittenkeller on Twitter. We're live, and then every death in Pokemon.
Every death
Wow.
in Pokemon. That's so
Which
good.
it's 4 minutes and 25 seconds long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think there's a lot actually.
Ash's dad, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, unclear.
Unclear. They
where
do
were we
come
at?
back at the end of the movie in the post credits, don't they? I forget.
Mm.
Who does?
I didn't watch the post
The
credits.
little girl's parents in number 3.
Uh,
Cause she's
Oh,
like
you're
playing
talking
in
about
the
the
lake.
third movie. I thought you were talking about
I'm talking
Pokemon
about third
Forever.
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, her parents do come back.
Yeah, so they don't die.
Which is whack. That's the worst part of that movie.
It makes sense that the dad comes
Absolutely.
back. I have no idea where the fuck the mom comes from. Like, I don't even. Where was she? We don't know. She's back now.
I mean, I don't know what else there really is to say about this.
Oh, I have
movie.
something to say.
Okay.
I have something to say. My favorite thing about Pokemon has always been, even as a child, is Team Rocket. Jesse and James,
Yes.
they're
Yes.
the best characters.
Yes.
And I always have been on Team Rocket. I'm for them.
Yes!
I'm ready for them to steal Pikachu away from Ash.
To
One
steal
day they'll get him.
and put them to work in the mines. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. I do think it's hilarious that they are functionally Scrat from Ice Age in this movie.
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
make-
I mean, they're that way
literally-
in most movies.
It's true. It's true.
This
But
one
it's
is
like
so weird though, because first of all, you think they're gonna team up with the bad guy, which is a new thing. Usually, it's either like they don't do anything, or they're like kind of like enemy of my enemy is my friend, so they like
Right.
kind of team up
Right,
a little
like
bit,
they're
like
kind of
begrudgingly.
helpful.
Yeah, exactly. But in this one, like it starts off with you think they side for the enemy, and then they just straight up fucking don't. And then Jessie gets fucking kidnapped, and then gets blown up, and we don't know if she's okay for like a quarter of the movie, where she like gets blown up, and they don't say, "And here's Jessie, she's fine," for the longest time.
Dude, and James and Meowth are like so concerned.
Yeah, they were very upset that Jessie.
Yeah,
like,
they
like,
looked
I
really
really
sad.
do hope Jessie's okay.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the movie's busy doing fucking nothing, but they don't have time to shoot back to Jessie, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
no,
look-
and then Jesse's like, "Hey, you did it. We got one for Team Rocket." And then he's like, "I hate Team Rocket. I'm my own team now." And then she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, work. Okay, I guess I'm just stuck in this giant
Well,
grass monster."
catching Sam and Ash when they fall off a Suicune is very cute, and I love it. But
Yeah, me too.
yeah, that she's in the big Dark Souls twig monster, but when that monster explodes, they do not cut back to her till the end of the movie.
She's like,
Like they show they show a clip of her falling, and then they're like, "Oh God, there's Jessie," and then that's it.
And then they don't talk about it for like 20 minutes.
Oh, you want to know something else about Suicune in this movie?
Yeah.
The fact that the water is dirty doesn't make any sense either. There's no explanation for why the water is dirty.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so why
There's
is
no
Celebi dying
explanation.
after not being evil? Oh, because they hurt the forest, so now they're dying.
But how
Because
does
the light
whatever.
and
like,
good and
he's not like
you know, dark
polluting anything.
people.
If anything, he's a very eco-friendly villain because his whole shit's sustainable. It's all made out of
But
leaves.
Jackson, man made him destroy the forest. It's anti-corporation, Jackson.
Is there a Captain Planet movie that we can cover?
Oh, maybe.
God, I'm
probably is.
a really big fan of Captain Planet, but it is problematic if you go back and watch it because it's mostly like the real problem is poor people who
Right.
are littering and
Yeah,
they're
not
dumb
7
and,
corporations doing
yeah,
everything.
it's not giant. They're like, if you do your part, then you can be a planeteer too. And
Right.
I would love to be a planeteer, but I think doing is like, getting mad at Amazon. Is
Right.
Yeah,
mostly
you know.
what I do.
The
Yeah.
7 billionaires with names and addresses, those people first.
There's a great moment in this movie where the guy catches Celebi in his dark ball, and
I love
Ash,
the way you say dark ball.
and Ash like grabs it, and he's like trying to keep it away from him, but he's like down on the ground, and the guy like steps on his fingers to like get him to let go of it, and then Ash just like passes out, I guess.
Yeah,
Like the
stepping on his
pain,
fingers.
the pain of
It
getting
hurt
his
a lot.
finger stepped on just made him like just die. Like I don't know what exactly
No,
was going on.
He
with
But-
that.
also got thrown from the cockpit of this weird giant metal spider.
I
No,
guess.
And
what
he
does
also
it? What
gets
does it is the
electrocuted
fingy
by
stabbing.
Pikachu at the end. So, and is fine, perfectly fine.
Right.
I mean, like, I know
He's used
Pikachu
to
wasn't
that.
like
He's
trying.
immune to that at this point.
Yeah, he wasn't attacking him, but like he was holding on. Like that's not how electricity works. Okay. That's
It
all.
reminds me of my 7-year-old stepbrother who like, oh my god, this is a really quick story time, and it has to do with like kids just being extra dramatic about pain.
Hell yes.
So he was in the bathroom. They have a little steppy stool for them to get like up to the sink, right? Well, he fell off of the steppy stool and he hit his face on the little trash can. Okay,
Ow.
which were at the edge of the trash can, and it probably hurt really bad, right? And his
Mhm.
mouth was bleeding. He had like a cut in his mouth, and so like I'm helping him in the bathroom, like we're washing it out. I have him spit out water, and he has this moment where he's like at the sink and he looks up in the mirror and you could just see that like his little 7-year-old brain is just like, oh my god, I look so fucking cool right now. And he's just like, he's got a little bit of blood dripping out of his mouth, and he's like, ugh.
Metal man.
It was metal as fuck, but it just reminds me of like that, the pain of the fingers.
I like to imagine.
So cool.
I like to
So
imagine
cool.
Twitter in the Pokemon universe, where people are just constantly doing like call out posts for Team Rocket. Like, you guys don't even seem to know that Team Rocket literally stole thousands of Pokemon from underprivileged kids in the last year. And everybody's always trying to like convince people.
But they look so cool.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them.
What's hilarious
Yeah.
about Team Rocket as villains is that they put up no front whatsoever.
I know.
They're just like, yo, what's up? We steal Pokemon for money. It's like, wow, you guys are even like pretending to be the good guys.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
we're evil.
Here's our building.
thing
It's
is
got the
that-
letter R on it.
Got a big bar on it.
Yeah, Team Rocket. I mean, that's the thing about like Pokemon, like following Ash Ketchum, is that there is a very thin line between the heroes and the villains, and that like the heroes are like, you guys you're not doing this for the right reasons, and they're like, well, what are you doing? Just like also catching them in small balls and keeping them in there
But they're
for
doing
fun.
it for friendship, Keisha.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
I
selling
know,
them for a profit.
I know that. I know
I'm not
that. but
selling
it's like-
puppies on the black market. Who are you, Cruella?
It's like, okay, but that's the thing, is that it's a very thin line. Like, that's why they have to be like, oh, it's dark balls and they're evil and they're doing it for
Yeah, of
bad
course.
reasons and they're taking the
Being
brains of the
such a
Pokemon
girl
and
boss
changing
right
them.
now.
Yeah.
But you're like, you're like, Ketchum, you kind of also, you're just putting these wild creatures into balls and you're toting them around and taking them away from their natural habitat, but I guess it's okay.
That
yeah,
would
but
be
they're
another.
not dark balls.
Yeah, that would be another
That's
Pokemon
true.
Twitter thread, or people would be like, if you find a Pokemon in a dark ball, it is stolen.
Yeah, the whatever PETA is
Yeah.
Pokemon.
It's like, those like PSAs for human trafficking that are just like completely full of misinformation, where they're like, oh, if there's chalk on your tire, that means they're going to kidnap you. And everyone's like, that's not what that means at all. Stop saying that.
And everyone's
It,
like,
it would be
oh my
like
God,
that
really?
for like catching Pokemon balls. Like, if you see a Turtwig with 3 leaves instead of 2, it is sick. And it's like, no.
If
It
you
is
hear,
Team Rockets.
well, we did the hunter was like, I'm gonna sell this Pokemon for money. I want to know more about the black market of Pokemon. I feel like that's
Yeah.
where we should have been going with this movie. That would have been intriguing.
Grady
Dude.
reboot.
Dude, no, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like being in high school, and I had like my high school friends. We loved Pokemon. We were like, we're gonna write our own Pokemon story, and we're the main characters. And like, fucking, of course, like there was an apocalypse, and it was about the like Pokemon black market because we wanted ours to be very serious,
Right.
very
Gritty
serious
reboot.
story. Gritty, absolutely.
I'm waiting HBO. I'm waiting for it. That'd be pretty good.
I mean,
No,
look,
no. CW.
Oh,
Acme,
you're right.
CW.
You're right.
I
That is
genuinely-
CW for all over.
I really think if like HBO or Amazon or somebody like backed like a more adult-oriented Pokemon cartoon, it could be like definitely super good and interesting, and people would be all over it. Or like my pitch has always
yeah.
The
been.
manga is pretty much.
Well, I mean, yeah, they have the manga, but my pitch has always been, I think they should start doing a, like, Western, like, American comic book series. I think that would rule. That's something that I want to see start to happen. Somebody at Marvel get on that.
At Marvel, do it.
They own
Quit your job,
everything.
someone at Marvel.
Yeah, somebody at Marvel resign.
In disgrace.
Anyone.
Write Pokemon
Anyone.
instead. I have
Chris
already
Evans.
pitched my idea for Detective Pikachu 2. This time it's good.
Right.
So I've done all I need to for the Pokemon universe canon.
My pitch is the new universe where it's always from the perspective of Team Rocket, and then you see just like how much of a little shit Ash Ketchum really is, and you're
Right.
like, oh yeah,
Make a distinction
deserves to go
between
down.
Jesse and James and the actual like league of Team Rocket, I feel like those are two very separate things. Like
That's
Jesse and
true.
James,
Yeah.
we all love them. They're blundering fools. They like have great relationships with their own
Yes.
Pokemon and making friends with their
Yes.
Pokemon. They do not
Yes.
reflect Team Rocket as a whole.
Yeah.
They are the
They're like
the
Pain and
outliers of a
Panic.
horrible corporation.
They're
This is
the
like
Pain
your
and Panic
uncle who
of the
works at
underworld.
Amazon who you love. You love your uncle, but Amazon is still shit.
My friend, her mom is the vice president of SeaWorld.
Oh no.
And so it's like, that's basically Team Rocket of real life.
I don't know about that one.
But like, she seems like a nice person, but then she's like,
I
if you
guess
ever go to
it's
San
more
Diego,
about the goon level. I feel like if Jesse and James were the leaders of Team Rocket and they were still like, hey, we sell Pokemon for money, I feel like that would be more problematic. It's the fact that they're goons and like on the lowest level that it's like plausible deniability. That like they
And
don't
they
have
also-
control of what's going on, so they can.
They
be
also
lovable.
never succeed.
Exactly.
Right.
This is an important part. Is they never do the thing that they're trying to do.
yeah,
Yeah, so
It's
they can
not
be
like-
lovable and goofy.
like Doofenshmirtz is the best part of like Phineas and Ferb because he's like the underdog, baby.
But I want to talk about, just speaking of gritty Pokemon reboots, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Back in the day, when Adeline and I were like trying to like feel around, we were like, we maybe want to make content. And we're like trying to find a good thing to do. And this is still a good idea that I think we might bring back someday. But we decided we wanted to just play like shitty ROM hacks of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And record them. We did it with Anna. And there was one that we played that was called Pokemon Cops. CAWPS. That was so spectacular. It was clearly made by like an 11-year-old, and it would be like, welcome to the Pokemon Police Force. Here's your starter Pokemon. That is a Growlithe, and your job is to go out and stop all the crime. And like every time you would walk into a building, you'd go inside, and there'd be some guy who was like, I'm a pedophile. And then you'd fight him, and he'd go to jail. And then like every time you went into a house, somebody was like being raped or murdered or something.
Yeah.
And every time you like clicked on something, it would be like, huh, it's a Wii. The GameCube was a lot better. Like some 11-year-old who just thinks he's so fucking cool.
I know.
It was
so good.
so funny.
There was also Pokemon Extremely Fire.
Pokemon Extremely Fire. What was even funny about Extremely Fire? I don't even remember. It was just a weird one.
I don't even remember. Like, a Cops is the only one that I can like remember what the stick was. I mean, there's a million terrible creepypastas, and they're all hilarious. Like, that's a staple.
Right.
But
yeah, we gotta bring that back soon.
well,
Next
do we
time-
still have those episodes? Because I had a really good creepypasta joke in those.
No, those are long gone.
Probably.
But yeah, I'm sure I could look up and find some more some more like ROM hacks made by 12-year-olds that we could play because it would be
dude, I would
so
love that.
fucking good. I loved it so
I
much.
love like I feel like SCPs or like creepypastas are like actually really well written and really well developed. I love shitty 13-year-old creepypastas.
Yeah,
There's nothing
exactly.
in this world that I love more.
We
Just the
should-
fucking
We should read creepypastas more often on this podcast.
We should. Well, because like I don't like good creepypastas because I'm a big baby and they do genuinely scare me. But seeing some 13-year-old saying that they got a haunted version of Donkey Kong from a fucking garage sale and then they woke up and Mario's eyes were red and then his mom died, those fucking slay me. I love those so much.
Okay, I think
Joke
from now
about that
on.
because that actually happened to me. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keisha. Was
Yeah.
it you?
God, Keisha.
Adeline, you went to
that's a
Keisha's
real
mom's
story.
funeral.
Yeah,
know
you
what?
remember. I did have like a little tickle in my throat just now, but it kind of sounded like my voice was breaking. So
It was
sounded like
good.
you were
It
gonna
might have
cry.
been
Good
like,
actress.
She's really committed to this bit.
I really, no,
Maybe-
I wish I was that committed. I just needed to clear my throat.
Maybe we can just test out like typing in the name of the movie this week on creepypasta.com or something, just see what happens. Maybe that's a well we can mine.
It's really. Can you do that right now? Actually.
Okay, let me see. I mean, we know there's plenty of Pokemon ones.
But for
I want to
Pokemon
hear about
Forever,
the
I'm sure they had a
creepypasta.
copy of it where Celebi was dead forever, and then they opened their eyes,
Right.
and their eyes were like black, and then they were like killed everybody, and
I mean, there's
everybody was dead
obviously-
forever.
Like Ash Ketchum is in a coma.
Right.
Oh, and then Pikachu is just his dog, and you're a fucking idiot.
I do like the Pokemon. I like the Pokemon creepypasta that is Pikachu is actually in a coma the whole time.
Oh my god.
Okay, so creepypasta.com does not appear to have a search function, which is wild.
Wow. I mean, it is a shitty website.
I mean,
isn't
but
it?
I'll click random story and see what happens.
Maybe we'll
There's
get a Pokemon
creepypasta wiki. Lavender
might
Town
help.
Syndrome.
Voice of the Woods uploaded on June 9th, 2012, because of the woods. So that
fuck
works.
Yeah, 2012, a good year for
good year.
creepypasta.
An excellent vintage.
Pokemon
just see.
Black.
Like I said, this is a random story. I have not read this ahead of time. Maybe it'll not be that funny, but let's just dig in.
If it's inherently problematic, we will cut it out later. So strap in, live audience.
I've locked myself in this room with my laptop. I ... I don't know when they're coming, where they're coming from. Hell, I don't even know if they're coming. But what I do know is that they're out there. They're right outside my door, in my backyard, hidden behind the trees, just out of sight. All I have left is this laptop. So I will write this to whoever find it.
Not even my house.
In order for you to understand, you must hear my story. It's quite a tale. I recently moved into my house, bought and paid for, in a small town. The house itself was 3 floors, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it had a beautiful
Jesus.
view of a forest in the backyard.
Just this one person?
Why?
It struck me as odd that it was as cheap as it was, being such a big house.
Oh, it's because it's got a dead kid in it.
Now I know why.
Because it has a dead celebi in it.
Oh, God.
About a week after I got all my things moved in, strange things started happening. Among the first
do
things
tell.
are, power outages, strange noises coming from the woods, the occasional shadow crossing the trees, period.
These are regular things.
At first I thought it was just because I wasn't used to living in the woods, my imagination, and the power outages would be explained by it being an old house in the middle of nowhere. However,
Sweet Coon's there.
things gradually got worse.
Oh, it's Sweet Coon. Sweet Coon's messing with the
Sweet
water.
Coon. It's evil Celebi.
Oh my
Sweet
god.
Coon.
Oh my
It's
god.
evil Sweet Coon.
It's Nega Sweet Coon.
Black Ball Sweet Coon.
Dark... I'm not Blackball.
I didn't mean to say Black Ball, but honestly, I meant to say Black Ball.
After a few weeks of the previously stated occurrences, I could have
Yes,
swore
thank
I
you,
saw
author.
trees moving, but not like the wind. No, actually moving. But I
Oh
thought
my
it was
God.
just my imagination and thought nothing of it. Except that you
Or
thought it
just
was
the
just
fact
his
that it was an old
imagination,
house.
whatever.
Or maybe my imagination. Or maybe it was the old house. Or maybe my imagination.
However, one day, when I got back home from work, I saw that the garage door of my house had been opened. Someone had broken in. I ran inside as fast as I could. Maybe I'd catch the guy who did it before he got away.
Or my imagination.
But strangely enough, when I went in, not only was nothing missing, but I found a strange stack of twigs, leaves, and the like. I called the cops anyway, told them that they should keep an eye around the neighborhood if people were breaking in.
It was a dead celebi.
I called the cops on these twigs. They're not getting out of here.
I swept the bundle of foliage outside and didn't give it another thought. He's not giving a lot of things thoughts in this.
He's not. He has a lot of imagination, though. He's not thoughting, though.
I went into my bedroom.
Some people say thinking. I say thoughting.
Yeah, THOT, baby.
I went into my bedroom and fell asleep after that. But as if my day couldn't have been remotely good, wait, what? But as if my day couldn't have been remotely good, comma, I was awoken by something, ... bizarre.
Oh.
A blood
That's
curl.
a good sentence.
Fuck, this is really funny. A blood curling screech of pain like no animal I had heard before.
Curling.
Not blood curdling.
It's my favorite sport, blood curling.
It was terrifying, comma. I didn't know why it was terrifying, but when I heard it, I felt true
What do you
fear.
mean? Why was that scream not scary to you?
It continued for the
get it.
rest of the night, hours of torturous fear. When the sun rose, whatever had been making that terrible sound stopped. I looked out the window to see what was making that dreadful noise, but I saw nothing. It wasn't
Maybe
the
it was
last
my
time I heard it
imagination.
either. It started happening every night. By the 5th day, I was missing enough sleep and just built built up enough courage to go out there and figure out what that thing was and how to stop it from
Dude.
keeping me up.
This guy has been hearing
cougar.
screaming outside of his house every day for a week and has not been doing anything about it.
Wait.
Have you heard the sound of a cougar? Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I wish that I hadn't.
Oh my
Same.
god.
I grabbed
Do
my
cougars
hand.
sound like screaming?
Yeah, cougars
They
sound like screaming
a
people.
pained woman screaming, and it's so creepy.
Oh, that's the
Continue,
worst.
Jackson.
I grabbed my handgun and a flashlight and went into the
Oh,
woods.
fuck yeah. This
Oh
dude's
my
cool as
God.
hell.
The sound's
Go
still
get it.
screaming throughout the forest. This is where it turns into fucking Resident Evil or Blade or some shit.
Yeah.
I shined.
He's gonna cut a cougar in half.
I shined the light through the
Think it might be
forest.
Suicune.
Still couldn't see a damn thing. I grew closer and closer, and the sound grew louder and louder. The dreadful screech made my head feel like I was imploding. Ears started to bleed. The pain was terrible.
You do not know what that feels like, sir.
The pain was terrible, but I had to find out what it was. And as I crossed that one last tree, I saw it. It was 10 feet tall, on all fours, covered in brush, bark, and scales. Its mouth was open, screeching as loud as it could, showing 3 rows of sharp, barky teeth. Its eyes were yellow and reptilian. I only got a quick glance of it, but it will forever be embedded into my brain. So, okay, the narrative here is that there's a monster who's just sitting in one spot and screaming all night in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what's
it
going
also
on?
breaks into his house
Yeah.
and puts piles of twigs in there.
Honestly, I think you just have a raccoon. Like, it's not even that big a deal.
I turned, yeah,
They might
the
not
house,
be related.
Yeah, somebody just
incidents.
broke into his house. That's just also happened.
Yeah, that just also happened the same
He's
week.
just like, hey, I'm just telling you, I had a bad week, okay? Like, I'm not
Yeah,
saying it was all this
God.
one monster.
I turned to run, but more of them seemed to come out of the ground with the same terrible sound. Oh.
I also couldn't find my keys on Tuesday. What do you want from me?
So wait, so there's more than one.
Okay, we're in the home stretch here.
Shit.
I ran as fast as possible back into my house and locked the door behind me. But when I got inside, I had a revelation. The stack of twigs. My garage door. By far big enough to let those things through. They had opened it. I don't know why. I don't know
Wait,
how.
I thought they were 10 feet tall.
But they could get it. I quickly grabbed this
Squeeze in.
laptop and locked myself in the small cellar, far too small to let them in. I can still hear that sound, that deafening sound that rips my soul apart. I just can't take any more of this, so I write to whoever finds it. If you ever see a stack of twigs in your house unexplained, or see the trees move on their own, and my God, if you ever hear that dreadful noise, God rest your soul, run away, move to the city, and never look back. But it's too late
the
for me
country
now.
life just isn't for you, city slicker.
But it's too late for me now. They're in my head. I can hear them calling out with their noise that would make the devil himself cry out in pain. The only thing I can do now is sit here and pull this trigger. Hell would be a great improvement to this noise. End of story.
It only happens at night. Just wait for morning, you idiot.
Move away.
Oh
Get
man.
out of there.
Oh shit.
And they just leave twigs in your house?
They
I thought
did
it was
nothing.
gonna be
You ever
Just
see
to
a
be clear,
stack
the
of-
monsters
they
did nothing.
scream and leave twigs?
They
I
leave
thought it
twigs
was
in
at
your
least-
garage, and that
I
means
thought
you
it was
have
at-
to move.
Like at least it would have been like the twigs grow into a baby one and they like use your
Yeah.
house
No,
as like
no.
a nest or something, but
And
no,
they like
it's
grow
just
from
like
your mind. No.
they're like, what if they left some
What if I built
sticks
a little,
in here?
little fairy hut in your garage? Wouldn't that be so random?
I'm gonna start leaving twigs in people's houses.
And then
be like,
telling them that they have to
"Oh,
move to the city
yeah.
now.
I'm like, hey, listen,
Have
I
you
heard
read that
I heard this story.
creepypasta?
They're like, oh my god, I love that story.
Oh god.
I guess that one couldn't be about Pokemon because if this scream happened, it would have just been like Pika Pika,
Yeah.
and then like, you're like, oh, I wonder what that is. Wonder what that could be.
I wonder
I
what
mean, it
that
could
is.
have
So
been that, or
sorry.
it could have been like, roar.
No.
Or I wish that it was actually Meowth that was there, and he was just like, hey, what's the wise idea? Just like I'm gonna leave some sticks in your house. That would have been better.
Would have been great. Would have been amazing.
And I'm just reading the chat right now. I've been reading that creepypasta, and Anna's talking about a creepypasta that's the Wasp Room, and her description is, naughty kids get sent to the Wasp Room, and you'll never guess what's in there.
Anglo-Saxon Protestants?
Really good.
Bees?
Anyway,
Okay, so I have a
so
genuine question.
yeah, go for
Because
it.
I feel like we've been making fun of this monster that does nothing but scream. But
right.
isn't that literally what banshees are?
No, but they're also ghosts that'll steal your kids or whatever.
But I thought banshees just scream when someone in your family is gonna die. Like, not even they're gonna kill them, like they're just gonna die.
Yeah, they like
oh, your
show
dad's
up and
sick.
like warn you.
Yeah,
by
so like I've
screaming.
always seen banshees as like
Nice.
kind of good guys, but if you ask like somebody from like Ireland that like experiences that folklore, they'll say banshees are fucking terrifying, and I'm like, but they're just they seem kind of like nice, like they're doing you a
They're
favor.
trying
They're
to
just letting you
help
know.
you.
But it
Yeah, they're trying
means
to
that your
help.
dad's gonna die.
But it's not the
Maybe they,
banshee's
like-
fault that your
Right.
dad's gonna die.
But that
He's
doesn't
just
mean
trying
you
to help
don't
you.
want to
They-
see one.
And the
Maybe
whole
they
thing is that the
choose-
banshee's sad. They're mourning the fact that your dad's gonna die. They're just as torn up about it as you are.
Yeah.
Maybe they choose who gets to die, and they're just like, "Oh, I hate this
Right.
guy
Fucking hate that
so
family.
much.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
scream
scream
till
at
one of
him
them
so
dies.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scream at him so bad."
I'm gonna leave sticks in their garage so they have to move away.
But yeah, but like the world of this creepypasta posits that they scream every night, and the scream stays from in one spot, and they just, when the sun goes down, they sit down and they start screaming, and then when the sun goes up, they go home, I guess, or maybe they just stop.
Like-
Maybe they just sit in the forest quietly during the day. Like, I don't know.
I think the
They're like,
worst thing
"I
about these
think well
monsters, I think they
done."
just lower the value of your home, and that's
yeah,
it.
exactly.
I think what you're failing to understand here, Jackson, is that the screech would make the devil scream out in pain.
That's true.
Yeah.
It
It's,
would.
it's just
Hell
it's
is there a
that
better
bad.
alternative?
yeah.
Can we start a creepypasta book club?
Yeah. Well, creepypastas
gonna
are
start
usually
pick a
short.
random creepypasta and reread it, and maybe one time it's good, but the rest of
Right.
the time it's just stuff like this that's just perfect and immaculate.
I mean, look, how long are creepypastas usually?
Probably this seemed like a short one. I think usually they can be pretty long.
Yeah. Oh, they have an
I mean, I
estimated
think the
reading
amateur
time at the
ones are
top.
very short, but like the famous ones that people love, I think those are longer.
Right. Maybe I think I want to do this more often. I really like reading shitty creepypastas.
I know, it's my favorite thing in the world.
It's
Yeah.
hard to write, you guys.
It is
That's
hard
why,
to write.
That's why this episode
Writing's
is sponsored by Skillshare.
God, I fucking
God,
wish.
oh my
Just
god,
kidding.
Skillshare, call us, please. That
Oh,
is such
man.
a good advertisement.
We're trying to improve
okay.
on the creepypasta.
So if we've been going for a hot second, and I feel like we're fully done talking about Pokemon Forever.
Yep.
I wanna talk about something. Our good friends at the First Play podcast, who was just on a couple of weeks ago, and they mentioned on this show that they wanted to get Jose Canseco on their show as a guest. And they got Jose Canseco to follow them on Twitter.
Oh no,
Which
they're doing
means-
so much better than us.
I know, which means we're like really slacking. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to reevaluate our strategy, okay? We gotta get a new white whale. Because Tim Blake Nelson, God rest his soul, is not on Twitter.
Oh, I think I said
Oh my
he
god, I
died.
thought you were gonna say he died today.
No, he did not.
He can no longer be on
rest
the
his
podcast
soul.
because he has died in peace.
Can't
But-
say that. Oh my god.
But he is not on Twitter, which is kind of the only way that you could possibly contact
Get
a
someone on your
celebrity.
podcast.
Yeah. So we've got to come up with a new C-list character actor that we love that we can get on the show. I'm hearing any and all
Tim
Say
types.
Curry.
Weird Al. I still say Weird Al.
We
Weird
can't
Al
get
Curry
Weird
does
Al. Like, we
anything.
cannot get Weird Al.
Weird Al
I
is
think we
not
could.
C
Tim
tier.
Curry.
No, we couldn't get Tim Curry.
Tim
either.
Curry, not C tier.
You guys are thinking
Tom
too big.
Bergeron.
See, Tom Bergeron could happen, I think.
I could not have a civil conversation with Tom Bergeron.
Why not?
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if Tom Bergeron's
I just think it
on
would
Twitter.
be funny if we had beef.
Okay, one moment. Tom Bergeron.
What if we just got a Ouija board and we just tried to see if we could get any dead celebrities to be on the podcast?
Oh,
Would that be
Oh.
something? I think
Okay.
I'm just gonna start my own horror-themed podcast where we talk to dead celebrities on a Ouija board and also read creepypastas. I think I might go, actually.
Tom Bergeron is on Twitter. I do
Okay.
remember that a long time ago we did a bit where we said we wanted Anthony Sullivan, the Taplight guy, to be on the podcast. And I think that's a good place to swing for as well.
And he's not deeply problematic, correct?
No. He was friends with Billy Mays. You're thinking of the
Oh.
ShamWow guy.
Yeah.
The ShamWow guy
do
we
love
probably
Billy
don't. Actually, I think if the
Oh, rest
ShamWow
his
guy
soul.
wanted to be on the podcast, I would not be able to say no. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like we'd get him on the podcast and we'd be like, so what's up with that time you like beat a bunch of women or whatever it was?
Yeah, what the fuck's up with you, man? That would just be the whole podcast.
But regardless, I think Anthony Sullivan is a good pick. We would have to refrain from saying just tap and you've got light over and over again in his presence, but I think that
I
would
think
be
we
a
could
fun
do
one.
that.
Although, here's something I would question. Do we want somebody who, because like if we're talking about Anthony Sullivan, he's not like a film person, you know? He works in a really specific industry. So
I think we have to get somebody who's at least in like the pop culture industry.
Right,
Like if you're
right.
a music guy, you could talk about a movie because you're like, like they need to be in the space though,
Oh. Here's my new pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said this to Keisha already. The guy who says salt in The Last Jedi.
You said that on
Oh,
the
that guy. You
podcast.
definitely said that on the podcast.
No, it was a text. I remember it was a text. I think we could get him. Whoever he is, he's probably just some guy from LA, right?
I think he's like friends with like Ryan Johnson or something.
Must be.
I think also if you invited him and then he like watches your backlog and he listens to you say, I mean, he's just a guy in LA, right?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
he's
no,
His
no,
feelings
no.
are going to
Be
be
offended.
hurt.
I don't think that's true. I
We
think
talk
he's...
very highly of this scene.
Of
Yeah.
that one
Very
part of the
highly.
movie he was in.
And look,
It's salt. It's red salt. It's amazing.
the entire. I don't think there's absolutely anything wrong with being a guy in LA who gets small bit parts in movies and commercials and stuff. It just means that you're probably easier to contact than fucking Weird Al Yankovic.
So,
And we respect him
Christensen,
pretty
though.
much just as much as Weird Al Yankovic, to be honest.
But what about HC?
Jackson, you
Well,
have
how
a
possible
fucking
is that?
what is it called? The instrument.
Uh,
The
What?
fucking
Theremin?
wee woo wee woo. What's it called?
Guitar.
No.
What are you
Keyboard.
talking about?
Air instrument, you push it together.
Trumpet.
Accordion?
Accordion. You have a fucking accordion. You can't not like Weird Al.
Okay. What
oh,
were you-
wee woo, wee woo.
Oh, you know, because they make that sound.
You push it together, it goes wee woo
Wee
wee.
You know, I think
wee
it's
woo.
pretty fucking clear, Keisha.
When the push it together part, that cleared it up. But when you said, it goes, you
Wee
put
woo.
air into it and it goes wee woo, is pretty much half of
I
it.
think everyone knew what I was talking about.
No, we didn't. Okay. What were you saying, Keisha? Who's HC?
Hayden Christensen.
Oh, I think that's still too big.
Is he like B tier?
Yeah.
I think we could do
Do you
it.
think we aim for like YouTube people? Do you think we could get like Danny Gonzalez to talk about a movie? Because he does talk about movies.
Right.
I don't know.
He's at like the 2 million subscriber though. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
he's
how
kind of
high
A
he
tier
is.
YouTuber.
I think.
cool.
I
He's
think.
not A. I would say he's a B.
I feel like part of the bit of this though is getting somebody who's absolutely not a part of the online content sphere. Like getting
Yeah.
some obscure traditional media person to come on a podcast is like half the fun, I feel like.
Mm.
But see, here's the problem, Jackson, is that as funny as this idea is, it has to be someone that we could actually physically have a conversation with. And I feel like getting people from just like the advertisement industry to just come and talk to us, I think isn't going to be as good of like actual content as it is just a funny idea, you know?
Well, okay, first of all, I'm sure Anthony Sullivan is a very charming man.
Yes.
But, I mean, look. We just gotta find the right guy. We gotta find the right target.
Okay.
And I
We'll
don't
find
know.
them.
And it's gotta be somebody on Twitter. I think Tim Blake Nelson's perfect, but he's not on Twitter is the only problem.
Just make him get a Twitter. Let's start a hashtag to say
Tim Blake Nelson get on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, hashtag Tim Blake Nelson come on our podcast.
Yes, perfect. Well, because he'll have us to thank for getting him on Twitter.
Right.
So, like, kind of as payment, he'll have to come on the podcast.
What about Stephen Root?
Whomst?
Bill on King of the Hill, in Barry.
Oh yeah.
What else is he even in? He was
He
the
plays
banker
the blind guy in...
Yeah, the blind guy in Oh Brother Where Art
Thou.
Thou. Different obscure character actor from Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
He plays the dad in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right. Do you think we can get Stephen Root, Kezia?
I think we could get Stephen
That
Root.
I have a lot of things to say to him
Because
about
he's
different performances I've enjoyed.
okay. Let me check and see if Stephen Root's on the Twitter.
Like that's also a problem is that like when we're aiming for like 60-ish-year-old men, they're
Right.
probably not going to be like super hot on social needs.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying.
Stephen Root does not appear to be on Twitter. Fuck.
Yeah,
I know we're fishing in the wrong pond.
Man, we'll come back.
Do you think we should just like shoot our shot and be like, "Hey, George Clooney, come on the podcast"? Do you
Yeah, I
think we
mean,
should
I
just do that?
guess maybe.
But
I don't think that there's you could like the worst that would happen is he'd say no or nothing at all.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
the worst
or
that would
like,
happen is absolutely nothing would happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
Or
not what
we
I'm
say,
worried about.
Hey, George Clooney, can you please tell Tim Blake Nelson we want him?
Yeah, there we go.
What if maybe that's our thing? We just start from like the very bottom, right? We like track down as many extras from Oh Brother Where Art Thou as possible. And we just like slowly build up the ladder where we're like, okay, now we're getting Stephen Root. Okay, now we're getting whatever the name of the old guy is that's in all the Coen Brothers movies. Who plays Pappy O'Daniel.
I really fucking like what you're asserting, Jackson, where shall we just have every single person who was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou on the podcast?
Yeah, we just link it up, and eventually we get to like Holly Hunter and George Clooney because it's like a thing now, and they want to be a part of it, right?
Are we watching Oh Brother Where Art Thou with them, or are we watching whatever movie they
No,
want to
any
watch?
other movie. We will never watch Oh Brother
Okay,
Where Art
gotcha.
Thou with them.
We will never.
Or maybe
We will never.
like George Clooney's the final boss. Maybe if we get George Clooney, that's when we do Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Then we watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what
Jackson.
what's up?
Is this conversation you talking about other guests that you're gonna have on this show? Is this should I be taking this as a sign that I'm never gonna be on the podcast again?
I mean, look, if we get a steady enough stream
Yeah.
of Oh Brother Where Art Thou actors, like nobody's gonna be a guest on this podcast anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
We won't be on this podcast anymore.
Exactly.
We'll just be like
It's gonna
3
be Tim
extras,
Blake
and
Nelson.
they'll replace us.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's our campaign. Anybody who was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, right?
No, everyone who was in
Well,
Oh Brother Where
eventually.
Art Thou.
But step
One
one
day.
is
We'll start with anyone,
anybody. Yes.
and then everyone.
And they presumably would have somebody's phone number that was also in Oh Brother Where Art Thou when they showed
Do
up
you
and
think
worked
the
on it.
like how old do you think are the little girls who played the Warby sisters? Do you think
Yeah.
they're like a little bit older than us?
Those
Do you think-
they're probably around our age.
Yeah, I think we should start with them. See if
Yeah,
they're
maybe
on
we could get
something.
one of the Warby sisters on the podcast. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, maybe the baby. Let's fucking do it. That baby with
That
the
baby.
giant head. Let's do it.
Okay. So that's it. So this is how we're gonna compete with First Play. This is how we're gonna catch up to them. Our white whale
We're
is
shooting our shot. Everybody put it on IMDb if you want.
Yeah, that's good. Put it in the IMDb trivia. There's a podcast called
Did you know that all of the extras from Oh Brother Where Art Thou were on No Nerds
Nerds
Allowed?
There's a podcast called No Nerds Allowed, and they have a mission to get everybody from that movie on their podcast eventually. God. And we could talk to like Roger Deakins and the Coen brothers. That'd be so great. That's what I want for this podcast.
No, this is the dream scenario.
Oh my god, that's a fucking good idea. I'm serious. Okay, I know we have a pretty limited viewership, but if you know anybody, or know anybody who might know anybody, who worked on or appeared in the 2000 film Oh Brother Where Art Thou, please speak up. Because this is now our final mission for this podcast.
This is the final boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Well, it's George
so
Clooney.
then-
George
George
Clooney's
Clooney's
Yeah.
the final boss. God,
God,
can
I
you
hope
imagine
just
getting
imagine,
Holly?
by the time we get there.
We could get Holly
Do you
Hunter
think-
on the podcast to talk about Batman versus Superman with her.
Oh my fucking god, that'd be so good.
God, wouldn't that be incredible?
That'd be so
Man.
good.
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2.
Also,
Watch Jackson's head explode.
yeah, I'd have to be like Holly Hunter. I gotta level with you. I fucking hate Incredibles too.
What if she did too, though?
It's
Wouldn't
not
that be
my
great?
I bet she does. I bet she's cool.
She probably does like it because she knew all the people who worked on it and loves and respects them, so she probably does like it.
No, probably hates it. Probably because she knows what's up. She knows what's good.
Oh, is Holly Hunter Superman's mom?
No, she's the one who drinks Jesse Eisenberg's pee,
She's the
Got
congresswoman
it. Okay, got
and
it.
she's
who
George
represents
Clooney's.
the man.
She's George Clooney's mean wife in Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah. And she's Mr. Incredible's nice wife in The Incredibles.
Yes.
She has the most interesting sounding voice ever.
She
I
does.
love
she's
her,
got
yeah.
she's got the best accent. Like
Yeah.
you're
Type
just like, that's Holly
70
Hunter. There she is.
Love her, love her, love her. Okay,
I love
got
and
it.
respect her.
I wanted to be on the same page as everybody.
Yeah.
What if Holly Hunter voiced a Pokemon? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where it's just her
You're
voice.
right. You're right,
Sounds
Keisha.
like Raichu, right?
She's like,
Like,
"Right."
that'd be funny.
Wait, hold on. Maybe I
yeah.
can do a Holly Hunter. I've never tried it before. I'm gonna try this out live on the air.
There you go.
Onyx.
Eh,
Like, it's
It's-
very much vocal fry.
You've
Right.
got some of
Wait,
it.
wait.
It's not.
On it.
Wait. Right.
Onyx.
Raichu. That's too
No,
too
nothing,
high.
Nothing at all.
That was too high.
Bob, because she's like,
Raichu.
Bob Parr, Bob Parr.
Bob.
Onyx.
Bob.
Onyx. Oh, man.
I need to listen.
That's pretty good.
Really quick.
I have to imagine that having a conversation with George Clooney is just really nice.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a good conversationalist.
He does. I feel like he would just have like a lot of stories.
Yeah.
It talks like very like quickly, but like in a nice way that he talks. You're just
Yeah.
like, this is nice.
This is it. This is our new purpose. And this isn't going to be like when we said we wanted to get Anthony Sullivan on the podcast. Because now that First Play have like gotten some kind of interaction from Jose Canseco, I feel like the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like it'd be super easy to go on IMDb and like figure out who one of the Warby sisters was and just be like, hey,
Yeah.
call them up. They're
Okay.
probably on Twitter because they're just like a
They're
little bit
probably on
older than
Twitter.
us.
The thing is it would be hard to tell who the real one is because they probably wouldn't be verified.
That's fair.
It'd be
Just-
a
well,
little
they
bit
would
tricky,
probably they would probably
can
have
always
some
find
kind of
something.
acting information. I'm assuming they're also like actors in some way, shape, or
Maybe,
form.
yeah.
There would probably be something on their Twitter. Or if you're just like, hey, were you in my brother? Were you in who for art thou, my brother? I can't think of the name of the
For art
my
thou,
brother,
my
wherefore
brother.
art thou?
Brother.
My brother, and where are you? That one.
Yeah.
There's like, if it was them, they would be like, yeah, I was in that. You'd be
Yeah.
like, cool. Do you want to be on a podcast? Pick a movie.
Right. Okay.
Because if they were like 8 in that movie, and that movie came out in the year 2000, and I came out in the year 2000,
Right,
so
yeah. No, I mean, the spectrum of age, they're probably anywhere from 21 to 30.
yeah,
Maybe a little bit older than that. And
it's
that's
the butter zone.
they're our peers.
Yeah,
That's the hot spot.
I feel good about this. I feel really good about this.
I believe
Yeah,
in you
I feel
guys.
enriched. I feel
Yeah,
like we
mhm.
can move forward.
I'm still laughing about my brother, and where are you?
Okay, are we just about done? I feel like we're ready to
Yeah,
wrap up.
I had a thought. Where did it go? We started talking about my brother, wherefore art thou, and then I lost it.
Stop.
No,
Was
I
it
guess I
about
said
now?
everything I wanted to say.
Okay, you guys can chill for a minute. I have forgotten to do the review.
Can I tell you a story about my interaction with Pokemon in the real world?
Sure.
Because I will be the first to admit I like Pokemon, but I just like didn't grow up with it a ton. Like I watched the cartoon when
Yeah.
I was like before school, but I just
Yeah.
never had any of the games because I don't know, my parents never got me any of them.
No, me too.
But I work on a food truck for my friend sometimes, and there's this one kid who comes with his mom like pretty regularly, and one time he was like, hey, do you like Pokemon? And I said, yeah. And he said, do you have any with you right now? And I was like, what? And he said, do you have any with you right now in the truck? And I was like, I don't think so. And then he was like, here, I have one. And he just held up his hand. He's like, this is a Pikachu. And I was like, oh, I have so many back here on my truck with me. And I was like, Onyx, Squirtle, Blastoise. I was just like holding up my hands with like different, just empty, like trying to name Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then like he left with his mom, and the guy I was working with was like, you don't know anything about Pokemon, do you? Like, just naming the most basic ones, and he was like, I think you were lying to that kid about your love of
I don't know
Pokemon.
anything about Pokemon.
I was like, this was not an interaction I was prepared for this morning. But it was worth it.
I think
'Cause
my
I made a
favorite
friend.
thing is figuring out what Pokemon our dad does know. Because he knows a few of them.
Right, we've
and he
always
is
loved
very
Pokemon,
proud of
so
himself
he's
for the
absorbed
Pokemon that he
some.
does know. Say it again,
It'd be
Jackson.
worth.
Oh, just yeah, he's absorbed some of them because he's been around it long enough.
Yeah, anytime he can name a Pokemon, he'll be like, Adeline, is Charmander a Pokemon? I'm like, yeah, it is, Dad. And he's like, hell yeah, I knew that Charmander was a Pokemon. It's one of my favorite interactions that I have with our father.
I knew he was. I was just testing you.
Yeah, I knew.
Fire lizard.
Okay, so this isn't an extreme review. Like, it's not a 1 or a 5 star. It's a 2.5 star. But would you guys like to hear a review from the internet of Pokemon Forever?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This person gives it 2.5 out of 5 stars, and they say, "This really has the vibes of a Miyazaki movie."
Oh, is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
I was like, what?
My follow-up question is.
Give it a little bit.
Yeah.
My follow-up question is: have you seen a Miyazaki movie
Yeah.
before?
Okay, I do. Okay, so I just watched Princess Mononoke, and like Forest Spirit, it's there. It's like if somebody watched Princess Mononoke and then was asked to write a Pokemon film, and they were like, I could do that.
It's just funny.
But it's
though.
also like that's
big
just
Boss
also
Baby
like
vibes from
Japanese
this.
folklore. Boss Baby vibes. What?
It's not that bad.
Look, I'm kidding. Boss Baby is pretty much just like a Miyazaki
Do you think we
film,
can get
though, if
Alec
you think
Baldwin
about
on the
it.
podcast?
Alec Baldwin on the
I'm
podcast.
gonna-
Kill you.
What's the most likely Baldwin, do you think?
Oh my
Steven?
God.
I don't want
Well,
him.
of
I don't want any of
I mean,
them.
I think there's like
honestly.
5 of them, and only like 3 of them are actors. I think. I'm sure we could get a non-famous Baldwin brother.
One of them. We should just do all the unfamous siblings.
Yeah.
The least famous, like we could get a Luke Hemi, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about
exactly.
Westworld.
I was gonna say Luke Hemsworth in Westworld. He's good in it though.
Yeah. He
Yes.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
Westworld is a good show.
Yeah, it
I don't
rules.
think that's controversial.
Have you guys heard about this show Westworld?
It's pretty good. You ever heard of James Marsden? Well, you want to see him be a cowboy? Robot?
Yeah, I do.
I
I
feel like
want to
there's
see everybody. If you literally said any name and you're like, do you want to see them be a cowboy? The answer is fuck yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
That's why I'm still so
Wait,
mad that I
who wouldn't?
haven't been able to see News of the World yet. Because I want to see Tom Hanks be a cowboy, like a real cowboy, not
see
a plastic
Tom Hanks
cowboy.
be a cowboy. I love cowboys.
Hanks is already a
I love
cowboy in
cowboys.
Toy Story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you
Dummy.
ever seen Toy Story?
I
You ever s-
explicitly said, not a plastic cowboy, a real cowboy.
Okay, well, that did
Whatever.
not enter my ears,
Okay.
so... What's wrong with plastic cowboy? That's what James Marsden was.
Sure, he
Hello?
was a plastic cowboy. Fuck.
Really good.
Man.
Anyway, my
I
I
name
think
is.
Okay.
Westworld and Toy Story are actually just exactly the same.
Yeah, maybe.
You wouldn't be the first one to bring that
Get on the fucking bandwagon.
Anyway, my name is Jackson McMurray.
My name is Adeline McMurray.
My name is Kezia Rhodes, and I didn't do any pitches yet, but any plugs?
Let's-
Oh, we haven't done any of the plugs. Okay, before we do that, we've
Shit.
got somebody in our Twitch chat, which is unusual. What's up, Pupper TNT? They say nice drawing, which I think is in reference to your drawing, Adeline. So thank you for that.
Aw.
It's a nice drawing.
Thank you.
And yeah, we stream on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. So if you have any interest in, I'm speaking to everybody, not just you, Pupper TNT. I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Or feel
Pointing
special.
them out.
You're
Of
not
course.
special.
Yeah, no, not special at all. But you can watch
Very
this,
average.
The YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to handle the fact that our YouTube chat is very lively most of the time, and our Twitch chat
Yeah.
is completely dead 100% of the time. So
Always, yes.
you know, how do I say, like, you can watch it on Twitch if you want without being like, but you'll definitely miss out on the fun chat? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe we
Yeah.
don't even need to stream simultaneously. Maybe just YouTube is
Free.
fine. Anyway.
Not that Twitch costs money.
Oh,
but-
I have heard some people say that they don't like watching the podcast on YouTube because they want like a visual and they get distracted. We've had plans to animate the image. Like all the little different doodads are all on separate layers and they'll bounce around and they'll be very nice to look at. That is something we plan to do.
Well, I think they just mean they want like face cam for us.
Well, but still, I know that that's something. It's nice to have like a clear thing to look
Right.
at. Like even like our old ones where it used to be animated, I love
Right.
just like looking at all the things move around. It's something. We plan on doing that.
Okay, Kezia, do the plugs.
Hey, here I go. If you haven't joined our Discord already, you should do that. We have a lot of fun little chit chats there.
Hey yo.
The link is in the description
Our Discord
if you
server
haven't joined it already.
rules, by the way. It's a good ass
yeah, no.
Discord server
It's
over there.
pretty lit, if you will.
Can I
If the children
custom
will.
like emojis for a Discord?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the other day. I don't know how to do that, but it's definitely a thing
Like
to
a
do.
tenant one.
I can
Yeah,
look it up. Well, I
lots
can
of
make like
tenant
I want to make
emojis.
like little like Jackson was right or Adeline was
like-
right or
no,
Kezia
do
was
like-
right like buttons.
No,
I like that.
no. For mine, I want you to do the temporal pincer movement hand motion tenant.
Yes, tenant. Fuck
I
yeah.
can-
When the
Okay.
fingers interlace, please. Thank you very
That
much.
will be my most
I'll
used
figure
emoji.
that out.
But if you would like to, you can follow us on Twitter at No Nerds Pod. You can follow Jackson at Jebberpack. You can follow Adeline at Hollaback Horse, and you can follow me at Real Donald Trump. Just kidding, that got taken off of Twitter.
Don't do it.
But Tabi, do you have anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Tapster Blaster, and I do art. And also, I'm in a podcast with Jackson and some of the people in chat. It's called Find Us Alive. It's a
Yeah.
narrative SCP podcast. If you liked our creepypasta bit, you will love Find Us Alive. That's it.
You'll
Yeah,
it's
that
well-
creepypasta
it's actually
bit was
well-written
actually an
and thoughtful.
episode from Find Us Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the
Written by
ghostwriter.
Anna, actually.
I never
Yeah.
plug Find Us Alive. Maybe I should.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
so
very,
funny.
very good podcast.
Somebody made it's so weird because like it seems like the fandom, with the exception of Cade, I guess, like the fandom of Find Us Alive and the fandom of No Nerds Allowed are pretty separate. Like there's not a lot of overlap. And
Yeah, not a lot.
Somebody-
I've seen like
somebody made a joke.
Tenant move.
Somebody made a joke about Home Depot in our Discord server a little while ago, and nobody even fucking said anything about it, which was refreshing. That was just nice.
Which is good for Jackson.
Yeah, exactly, because people make fun
Oh,
of me
also,
about
Spider-Man title.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
We didn't talk about it, but that happened.
Okay, anyway, yeah,
Sorry.
that's it. We're done, right? Podcast over?
Yeah,
Wait,
well,
one more
yeah.
thing.
Talking
One
about
more thing.
Fucking Pokemon Direct.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
no,
gonna
whatever.
Oh my God.
if you're here for the Pokemon and not all of the other things that we talked about,
That's
and
true.
just make sure that you're listening to the Pokemon news because there's a lot of really good news. I'm
Uh,
very excited.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I would
Here's
just say
the-
fuck it, we're done, but I guess we did put it in the title. I guess we should talk about the Pokemon Direct for a minute.
Oh, you did put it in
Yeah!
the time. I was about to say that would be like your push to actually go join the Discord. It's like, oh, we're gonna go talk about it in the Discord,
Oh.
but you did put it in the title,
I
so
did.
now we have to fucking talk about it.
I did put it in the
That
title, so we
was
gotta talk
easy.
about it. So yeah, I mean, the big thing for me,
I'm psyched as fucking hell. It looks so good.
Oh, me
I love the thing that
too!
Nintendo is doing, where like everything is Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild fucking slapped.
Yes!
So they're like, what if Pokemon was Breath of the Wild? And I said, fuck yes, please do that.
Or just
I'm-
feed it to me directly.
I am the most excited about Pokemon Snap still. I will never be
Yes,
more
this is
excited
yours.
about any
Oh,
video
yeah.
game than I am about Pokemon Snap.
It
Because
looks lovely.
it looks wonderful, and I'm so
Yes.
amped about. You can throw a ball at a guy to make him glow. Like, what's that? Just looks so
Yeah,
sick.
why not?
They had the little shot of the Raichu surfing on the
Yeah.
water. It's so pretty. You can take a picture of him.
And there's a picture of a Pikachu surfing on a Stunfisk. which is great.
Yeah, man.
That's my dream.
Okay.
And to
Just,
be
like,
posted
going
on
in and
fictional
taking
pictures.
Pokemon Twitter for clout.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
I don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know how to feel about that because I know that my like really little step siblings are like gonna love the shit out of this game, and I'm like, oh, don't introduce them to Pokemon Instagram, don't introduce them to that, don't do it.
It's so funny
Like,
because
you
they were like,
nothing in
they were
game,
like-
and it's just like, hey, here you go.
I like that they're like, you can share your pictures, and if they get liked, then more people will see them, and more people could like them. So that's
Just
Yeah,
spreading
like that's
social
it. That's
media.
all it is.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it's like not like you'll win a prize or like you'll get like a special bonus something.
Or
It's
like you can spend
right.
the likes at a store or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's like more people
Yeah.
can see your picture, so more people will like
Yeah.
it. Isn't that fun?
The guy on the
Isn't that
Nintendo
cool,
Direct's just
kid?
like, if enough people like it, maybe you'll generate a following and maybe you can stream Pokemon Snap and make a living that way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, be like hashtag follow our podcast.
I love that Black Mirror episode.
Hey, Tabi talks about Black Mirror.
Oh my
You
god,
guys!
is that like 5 episodes in a row now?
Oh my god.
I didn't bring it up though. I didn't bring it up.
I'm so sorry.
Tabi, they
We
don't
gotta
watch Black
bleep
Mirror.
it out
It's
Black
so
Mirror
good.
and also Godzilla.
Now I gotta, okay, wait, I gotta make a
Remember,
mark.
Adeline said the G word.
Adeline said
Also,
Godzilla
I
right
will
there.
say I listened back to the podcast where Adeline said the G word. I also said it, and you didn't bleep it
Oh,
out.
did I miss one? Fuck.
You missed one.
That makes
I'm
me
so
upset.
sorry.
There's nothing
You
I
have
can
to
do
bleep
about
out
it now.
Godzilla?
Anyway,
Yes,
it is
yes.
like
Why are you
episode-
bleeping out Godzilla?
Stop it. I'm making marks on the audition
Hey,
file
gang.
so I know where to go. And
The
I
reason
am
why is because we get into quite some tuffles about kaiju, and so it just is easier.
so
Oh, because
This-
Godzilla is a kaiju.
yes.
Do you remember on the
Yes.
Seattle trip we were just hanging out in the mall and we got into the biggest fight about whether or not a tart is a pie or a cake, or if a cheesecake is a
It
pie or a
was-
cake?
Yeah.
Yes, we were screaming in the middle of just a food court.
Yeah, no, it was the place by the monorail terminal. What's that place? The
Yeah.
Armory, the Seattle
Yeah.
Armory.
Yeah, there's lots of it was bad.
And we
Imagine
but
just
it was
sat in the
funny.
middle of
5
it and
teenagers
screamed
screaming
about
at each other about whether or not a
cheesecake.
cheesecake is a pie or a cake.
And I had pneumonia at the time too. so-
That was a good trip.
Ugh.
Okay, wait, we have to focus. Pokemon Direct.
So, okay.
Pokemon Direct.
Obviously, Pokemon Snap rules. Obviously, this weird, crazy, past set Pokemon game looks like it rules. I am not impressed with the Gen 4 remakes, though.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. It's just the games again.
Because, look, I like the remakes when it's like another main series Pokemon game, right? It's like, oh, this is just going to be set in the same region as an old one, but it's like still a new thing with its own ideas, and it's an upgrade from the last one in that particular kind of way, you know? But this one, they keep saying, like, it's a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl, which is not what I want.
Did the game again.
It's like, it's like
Yeah.
a huge selling point is that it's like almost exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like, I don't fucking care. And look, and like the art style's whatever. I kind of don't feel one way or the other about it.
It's cute.
It's weird and it's different and I don't
Weird that they're chibis. I don't like it.
I don't
It's-
especially like it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I'm just more just like we were making sure that all of the environments are exactly the same as they used to be. It's like, okay, cool. I do
Well, 'cause,
have
like,
Pokemon Diamond.
I'm kind of a fake fan.
But
Like I
not
really
everyone
didn't get into
does.
Pokemon
That's true.
games until like Sun and Moon, and it's because I really like being a full person that can walk around. Like I don't like being the scrunched up little pixel guy running
I
around.
do
Like, I like
agree with that.
I
yeah.
like being a person. And so in the new one, when they're like, you're just a full ass person and you can just throw Pokeballs at Pokemon and catch them and run around with your guy and like actually fight and be next to them, it's like, fuck yeah, that's what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that because you know, which is not to say that I think that the game doesn't have any value, because it's hard to get a hold of an old DS game and not everybody can play
Yeah.
it, and it's a good ass
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It is. So it's cool that
Yeah.
people will be able to experience it, but like for me, I don't know if I'll probably buy it right off the bat, you know, because it's like, it feels like a port more than it feels like a remake. And maybe I'm speaking too soon. We've only seen the one trailer. Maybe, you know, a few months from now, they'll be like, so anyway, check it out. We brought back Mega Evolution and there's a Battle Frontier or whatever. And they're like, we added all this stuff, these fun little features. Then I'd be like, okay, now there's something that I'm interested in. But if it's just like Diamond and Pearl again, not super into that idea, frankly.
Yeah.
Say
See,
though,
the
it is
coolest part-
interesting how like the people who are our age or a little older, they're starting to have kids, and those
Right.
kids do not have access to older Pokemon games.
Right.
But
Mhm.
you can be like, oh, I love Diamond, I love Pearl, I want my child to also experience Diamond and Pearl. That's smart
Yeah.
marketing. It's smart.
I
You're
think
like,
that
"Oh,
having a
different. I want it the
child."
same.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. It's disgusting. No, it's just, listen, I have some lovely friends who have had some lovely children already, but I just don't think I don't think that I personally
Keisha,
I'm at
can
the
you really
point
make
in my
that call about a baby though? Can you really?
I love babies. I just don't think right now I want to be in charge of a baby for 18 years.
No, you've said they've had some very lovely kids, but those kids are
Oh.
babies. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
don't
if
know
you can
yet.
make that
I
judgment.
like babies. I think
I'm
they're
just
great.
saying, I'm pretty sure that Hitler was a lovely baby too.
Okay,
What
well,
the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know.
I'm glad that you just said that my friends' babies are Hitler.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
I'll stay on this now.
Wait. Okay. I'm really, really excited about the remakes of the Gen 4.
Okay.
And it's because, really similarly to you, Adeline, the first Pokemon game that I ever played all of the way through, like to the finish, was Platinum. I got into it like a little bit later. I had like older games, like the original Ruby, and I had Blue, and I found a cartridge of Gold on the parking lot of my elementary school.
That's the
But-
best.
I know. I couldn't play them because when I was a kid, I wasn't really good at video games. And so the first one that I played all the way through is Platinum, so it's really like important to me. And so I'm so excited to replay it. And I know it's just going to be like the same experience and it might not be as fun, and I do really wish that there was just like I think that you mentioned something, Jackson, where it's like the same area but like a different story. I think that would be better. I totally
Right.
agree. I am very excited to replay it though.
Right. Because yeah, I think, you know, it's sort of the Pokemon formula, I think, is just about like
the secret mix.
the games having a certain amount of uniformity, you know. It's always the same
Yeah.
like battle system, it's always the same like, you know, set of Pokemon, it's always the same, you know, all the games can like interact with each other in one way or another, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of like quality control across all of them. And it feels like, especially because they're outsourcing this remake to like a different studio, which is weird. I don't know if they've ever done that before, but it just is weird that it seems very different, and it kind of makes me wonder if it's gonna be like another like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee situation where it's like not fully like a regular full-blooded Pokemon game, you know, where it's like not all the way the like regular full Pokemon experience. It's like sort of a bite-sized version of it, you know?
Yeah.
Which I was hoping for, but, and then it's the same thing with the Pokemon Legends game where it's like, is this like the next like Pokemon game, or is it like kind of a separate thing, or like, are we going to do more of these, or like, how does this interact with like the rest of the franchise? You know, it's a little unclear.
Yeah.
First of all, the best Pokemon game is one that a different 6-year-old dropped and you get to pick up. I feel a lot of people have that story if there was just a game cartridge in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
But
Because
specifically, like, it's always like Gold or Heart Gold. Have you noticed
yeah, for
that?
some reason,
Oh, it's always one of those two.
the 6-year-olds
They
can't
all the
hold on
same
to it.
game.
It's slippery.
There's only one Heart Gold in existence, and everyone
And
just
it's
keeps
passed
dropping
down.
They
it.
just
Through
passed it
parking lot.
around. Sorry.
I was gonna say because like the Pokemon, what is it? Legacy? What is it called?
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Legends. It doesn't
Arceus,
feel
the best
like it's gonna
Pokemon.
be the next Pokemon game, especially because it doesn't have its own starters. They just kind of like
That's
picked random
true.
starters.
That's true.
Like
I
it
didn't
feels like
consider that.
very much like not the next Pokemon game. It feels like an exploration into something new. I feel like it is gonna be more of an RPG. I feel like there is gonna be like a story outside of just getting all the Pokemon and fighting all the people, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And here's sort of my take, because obviously I won't like get too deep into like all my thoughts on all the different controversies around Sword and Shield, but I think part of the Pokemon brand that I'm not a fan of currently is their like absolute commitment to having a new game every year, you know? I think that
Yeah,
is the
right.
number one fundamental reason why they had to cut so many things out of Sword and Shield, because like making a game on a totally new platform is like this huge thing, and they were committed to having one out a year after Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out, you know?
Yeah.
They're working on one game every year. That's why they have to sort of like cut things down so often. And if they were like, you know what, no Pokemon game this year, so we can make the next one as good as we want it to be, then nobody would have a problem, right? But I think they made a couple of really good decisions, which is, first of all, instead of coming out with like a third version of the game like they usually do, they did DLC instead. They just made the existing game better, which I think helped the problem a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think what's happening next, both of these games that they're talking about are outsourced to other studios, which makes me think that they are doing that instead of doing it themselves, meaning they're probably hard at work at whatever the next Pokemon game is, so they can make sure that the next Pokemon game looks really good and can have all the Pokemon and, you know, be everything that we want a Pokemon game to be typically, you know?
Yeah.
And which is speculation, obviously, but that's what it feels like to me, and I think that is a good way to handle the situation.
Which is really weird because like Nintendo as a whole, I feel like is really good about pushing back deadlines in order to actually make a good video game. Like
Right.
literally the direct, they were like, "Hey, give us more time for Breath of the Wild. We're so sorry about it." We were like,
Right.
"No, it's totally fine." Because like
Yeah.
I've said that this is my thesis, and I've said it before, there has never been a rushed video game that ended up being good.
Yo,
like
I
they're
say that
always
Majora's Mask.
But that's
Like in,
different.
Black
that was
Mirror.
like that was
Majora's
inherently
Mask
from
is
the start.
different.
They were like, you have a small amount of time, and they knew that from the very beginning.
Right.
Running out of time at the very end and having to just hit go because corporate doesn't want to give you any more time, and
Right.
the demand is out, and you're already being pushed to your limits because the video game industry is really bad about crunch and
Right.
making their workers go to the absolute that they can do for an extended amount of time.
Right.
Yep.
That's different than Majora's Mask, where they're like, we're giving you a year, and they were like, all right, we got a year, you know?
Well, I'm sure that they were fucking absolutely worked to the bone on that project.
Oh,
though.
no, yeah, no, that's a part of Majora's Mask, they were absolutely worked to the bone, but that's not the point. It's not, you have a regular game production and then it's cut short, or they realize they need more time
Right.
and they're not given it. That's not the same situation that
Yeah.
Majora's Mask was.
But
I think that this whole conversation is also really interesting in light of recent events with Cyberpunk, right?
right.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't really have anything to like add with that, but I just think that it's interesting in
Right.
like, you know, with our current climate of like, oh, we're not going to release it till it's ready, you know.
Yeah.
Because
And
Fallout 76 is still fucking shit. Like, it's still bad. And, like, fucking Sonic Boom is the classic example of they just rushed what they were doing and it ended up being shit. Like, it's just, a video game is good when you give it the time that it needs to be good. And, like, this weird pressure, it's like, oh, people will be mad if it doesn't come out. And it's like, well, but people are still gonna buy it when it does. Like, you know,
Right.
like, people aren't gonna forget about Pokemon because there wasn't one this year, you
Yeah.
know?
because that's the thing. At least from my perspective, like the only real reason you can point to why Sword and Shield didn't have all the Pokemon in it was because they were committed to having it out November of 2019, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll just go off for a second, because the whole like movement around the National Dex, there was a lot of stuff about it, but specifically the thing about people just saying over and over again that Game Freak was just being lazy pisses me off so bad. Because can you fucking imagine the way the video game industry is in the world, but in Japan especially, being like a team of workers on the Pokemon game, working like 7-day weeks, like constantly. like
Pulling
holy,
all-nighters like every day.
like holy fucking shit. Can you imagine? And just everybody being like, they're just fucking lazy. They
And
just didn't want to make
asshole incel
Yeah.
on Reddit who sits on his ass all day doing nothing is like, they're being lazy.
It is absolutely, I find that to be like so genuinely despicable. Like it makes my blood boil.
It is a huge amount of work to
Yeah.
do all of that shit.
Yes, it's just like basically a group of people who are most likely being asked to do an unethical amount of work, and then people being like, "You didn't do enough work." It's like, fuck off, dude.
And it's like, it's not like we don't know that they're being overworked. We all know that they're being overworked.
But yeah, and like, so I mean, that's what my prediction. My prediction is next year they'll do a direct and they'll be like, okay, so sick, check it out. Pokemon. I mean, look, Pokemon's great at never doing what you expect them to do, so I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it'll just be the 2 games of the next, like, generation, or maybe it'll be like, actually, we are going to do a 3rd version anyway. Even though we did DLC instead, we're going to do a 3rd version anyway now. Or maybe it'll be something else. But it'll be like some game.
It'll be like Sword, Shield, and Dagger or something.
And Sword, Shield, and Weaponized Bacteria.
And Gun.
And Gun. But, like, you know, I'm sure whatever they do next will be like, whoa. Like, they got all the Pokemon in it. They made sure the graphics look really good. Because that's the thing. I was talking about this in one of my Pokemon streams a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
The Pokemon games always, like, become more and more polished the more games come out on a system, you know? Like, Diamond and Pearl are, you know, they are what they are. They pretty much look and feel mostly the same as the Game Boy games. And then Black and White, they're, like, really trying some shit. And, like, the aesthetic of the game is much more, you know, coherent, and it seems like they're putting a lot more work into, like, design than they are about just, like, putting a game together, you know?
Yeah.
And especially things like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, too. Like, each of those games you look and they, like, get, like, nicer and more polished as they go. And the same thing on the 3DS, looking at the difference between, like, X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, like, each one of those games is a lot more confident and a lot nicer to look at than the previous one, you know? So it's like, I kind of understand why Sword and Shield, like, doesn't look that great comparatively. It's because, you know, they make a game every year and they had to put all their resources into, like, making sure it was a game, you know? And now they're like, okay, we've done all the work to make sure it's a game. Now we have a year to make it, like, really nice, you know? Which is what I am expecting will come to pass.
Yeah.
I wonder if the remakes of Diamond and Pearl are gonna feel like Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, because I played Let's Go Eevee and gotta say, not great.
Right. Like, I don't feel strongly about it, but it's just like, yeah, it's not like a whole Pokemon game. It's like a pretty small little experience.
It's for, like,
not
it's for babies.
Dollars.
Yeah.
It's for babies. But, like, and I mean, they did some really cute stuff with it, like how you have to interact with, like, the Eevee or the Pikachu that you have, blah, 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 blah. It was really cute, but it just, you know, it kind of sucked.
Right.
No way.
Well, because it was, it was a remake of Red and Blue, right?
Yeah.
I remember about that. Yeah. So I wonder if, like, this is gonna feel a lot like that, where it's like, okay, it's just a 3D remake, and it doesn't have a whole lot to offer.
Yeah, and it feels
I hope not. I really hope not. But I want.
And because the thing that bugs me the most about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, not to sound like one of the National Dex people about Sword and Shield, but like the fact that they were like, yeah, there's only like 150 Pokemon in this one. It's not like a full-blooded Pokemon game. It's like definitively and objectively like a smaller, more contained experience. And the fact that they said a couple of times in that Diamond and Pearl trailer, they were like, catch all of the Pokemon from the original games. It's like, okay, so there's not really going to be any other Pokemon in it, right? Like, you're just going to stick with those, like, the Pokemon you could catch in that game. Like, it really feels like it is just kind of a port, like a remake, you know?
Yeah.
At the Pokemon team.
Right.
You know what game for babies that I want for the Switch really, really badly? I want the fucking Pokemon channel, Pikachu channel back. That fucking game
Pokemon channel.
rips. I love it. Pokemon channel, best game. Fucking
I-
love it. You have a house,
what do you
a
even do
Pikachu
in
breaks
that
into your
game,
house
though?
and watches TV with you. It's the best.
Yeah. It's just such a weird game. Because, like, I loved it as a kid, too. But every time I've, like, gone back to it, like, as an older person and sat down to play it, I've always been like, what do I do in this game?
Buy plushies
Yeah, I
on the
guess.
shopping channel that's run by Squirtles, and they have different plushies every day.
Yeah.
And you can go outside with your Pikachu, and he can interact with balls and with other Pokemon.
Right.
And you can get on the bus with the Pikachu that broke into your house and go to other cool places like the beach or like an enchanted forest. And you can watch the Pikachu Brothers shorts on the TV.
Yeah, I
And you
guess.
can color in coloring pages from the Pikachu shorts. So I think it's pretty fucking great, Jackson.
Okay, sure.
Is
I think
Pokemon
it's a
doing
6-hour
anything?
gameplay experience.
Is Pokemon doing anything with virtual reality yet? Because I feel like that's the next big thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you're
I mean,
actually
Nintendo.
no. So like it's all in real time. So you're like legit walking through a forest for like hours. Like maybe it comes with like a little Peloton or
Right. One of those rigs.
Yeah, that
That-
you get for Christmas.
and then when you fight, you're getting when you're battling, you like actually can get burned and shocked and frozen. I think
There's
that's
actual
the
like
move.
fire implemented.
Yeah. I think that's the next big thing. That's gonna change the game.
Could
That's
be,
my pitch.
Pokemon
Tell
VR
your
chat.
friend stand next to you with a taser.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Okay, so I don't know whether I'm going to put the Nintendo Direct talk in the podcast or not. I'll make a decision, but
You put it in the title, you borfo.
it doesn't
But
have
it's
to be in
not
the
in the
title of the
podcast
podcast.
You
title.
heckin'
title.
borfo.
You heckin' Borfo.
But for real though, if you're not on that Discord server, get on that Discord server because it
Get
rules
on
over
in
there.
it.
Um,
Get on into it.
But other than that, I mean, have a good night, I guess, guys. Like we're
Good
ready to
night.
roll. Yeah. Any final
Sleep
thoughts?
well. You never let Tabi say her name when we did the outro.
Oh, did we not? Tabi, what's your name?
It's Tabi Bardall.
We did say that. She said her Twitter handle and everything.
She
No,
said
she got to say her. She got
never
to do
got
her plug when we did the "I'm Jackson, I'm Adeline, I'm Kezia." We didn't let Tabi
Okay,
say.
we can take it again. Hi, I'm Jackson.
No, it's goodbye.
Bye, I'm
This is
Jackson.
working so well.
Goodbye, I'm Adeline.
See ya later, skater. I'm Keisha.
Bye bye, I'm Tabi.
Okay, perfect. All right.
No,
And
no
this
one
is
said
Nerds
smell
Alive.
you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Smell you later.
Okay,
Night,
thank you
night.
guys. Thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate you being here and we love it. And I'm gonna stop the stream. Well,
Right
wait.
now.